ABC Sport.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2023 AFL Premiership season.
Marks out to the right, steps on goal, superb finish. Turns, whacks it straight through the middle. Pulls the trigger on goal and goes bang! 'Cause here it comes, here it comes.
On ABC Radio, ABC Sport Digital, and now streaming on the ABC Listen app. Look for the AFL button.
Something big is coming, I know.
In the finals comes down to the final game of the home and away season with the Western Bulldogs defeating Geelong last night. The Giants need to win their way into September with victory over the Blues tonight. Hello, welcome to Grandstand AFL. Matt Clinch with you. This is the way in which the AFL dreamed it up that there'd be so many possibilities in the final round. There is some late team news. Sam Taylor is out for the Giants with a hamstring injury. Toby McMillan comes into the side, and the tactical sub will be Nick Haynes. For the Blues, it's Caleb Marchbank. So Charlie Curnow needs 2 goals to win back-to-back Coleman medals, 1 to draw level with Taylor Walker. He won't be alongside Sam Taylor tonight. And Steve Coniglio becomes the 5th Giant to play 200 games, one of their inaugural players. So the Western Bulldogs fans and players, they're blue baggers tonight, and it's a must-win game for the Giants. Coleman Middlemass alongside me to call it. Welcome, Corby.
Thanks, Clinchy. Set up beautifully. The subplot of the Coleman medal up for grabs. You mentioned the Western Bulldogs. They're probably the Giants' most heated rival if you take away the Sydney Swans, and yet here they are tonight, happening to barrack for Carlton. Hope the Giants don't spoil their party, and there's nothing they can do, the Dogs. So it'll be 2 hours of torture for them, no doubt, watching on tonight.
They get to watch on like the rest of us. The mood they must be feeling. You can join us on the SMS if you are a Dogs fan, 0437 774 774, and let us know how you're feeling. And number 1 draft picks are here. We normally refer to Brett Delivio as a Richmond champion. Tonight he's a Giants champion who watches on his former side, hoping they'll win tonight. Welcome to you, Lids.
Thanks, Clinchy. A real champion of 32 injury-interrupted games. Really did the jumper proud. No, I'm on board the Orange team today, so I'm looking forward to them putting up a great fight. Cogsy's 200th. They need to win to sneak in. So over to you, boys. I'm expecting... Toby Green well held by Nick Newman last time. I want him to fire, and I think he will. He always has that steely determination against a player that's beaten him. So the Blues, I'm not sure they've got as much to play for tonight, Murph. So other than getting Charlie Curnow, the Coleman. So come on, the G-men. It's been an incredible first season under Adam Kingsley. They've spent the last 4 weeks in the top 8, and hearing sort of Steve Coniglio speak throughout the week that the joy of playing footy is back, and they've rediscovered their best footy. So as you said, the stage is perfectly set for players like Toby Green. Former Carlton captain Mark Murphy is here and ready to go. Welcome to you, Murph. Not as much for the Blue Baggers tonight, but without Patrick Cripps and the return of Sam Walsh, there's still plenty of intrigue.
Yeah, thanks, Clinchy. Thanks, Corbin and Lids. I'm probably the only impartial person here in the back row, because Lids is very nervous at the moment. A bit like me last year, just on the edge of my seat watching the Carlton-Collingwood game. Very similar for Lids tonight, but I think it's all to play for Carlton still. I mean, you don't want to lose going into finals. You want to keep this run going and knock over the double-digit win in a row. So number 10 for tonight, and they can knock out the Giants and then play the Bulldogs. Or conversely, we said the Giants, who come in with a man down against someone Taylor was obviously going to play on, Charlie Curnow. So Tex Walker wouldn't be too happy, I wouldn't have thought, Lids, with that decision. But yeah, it's all for the Giants to come out here and win on Carlton's home deck and try and cement a Finals 8 spot.
The Blues' last loss was back in round 13 against the Bombers. What a turnaround it's been under Michael Voss this season after they had a challenging start to the season. They won their opening... Well, they won 4, drew 1 and lost 8 at round 13, and then they won their next 9 from round 14 onwards. The lights have been dimmed and the 2 captains have gathered in the middle of Docklands. The final member of our team is Ben Cameron, sitting in the front row tonight. Welcome to you, Ben.
Yeah, thank you, Clinchy. Tremendous to be down here ahead of this. A big crowd has built in readiness. The toss was Jacob Wiedering in there in the absence of Paddy Cripps, Toby Green in there for the Giants. I think the Giants are kicking to the Coventry end in this first term. He did the very cool sort of thumb over the shoulder. A late change for GWS, just repeating, Sam Taylor is out with a hamstring injury. Toby McMullen replaces him in the starting lineups. The subs for Carlton, Caleb Marchbank; for GWS, Nick Haynes. Both coaches down on the bench, as they always are, all in readiness from boundary side.
Thanks, Ben. Looking forward to your contribution throughout the night. How does it end, Lids and Murph? Who wins tonight?
I'm leaning more towards the Blues, but I just want the G-men to play really well. Good attacking brand. Give us a great game, great spectacle.
I've got the Blues to continue their run, Clinchy.
So we're all set in readiness in the final match of the home and away season in 2023. The Giants playing for a finals position. We're underway on Grandstand AFL. Here's Corbin Middlemass.
The yellow Sharon smacked into the turf. Koning leaps up, palms it down for the Blues. Tom Green's there. Hand pass for the Giants. Away to Canelio. And his milestone night gives it to Kelly. Kicks to centre half forward for the G-man. Newman punches it away for the Baggers. Comes down to Akers. Hand pass away to Kemp. Gives it to Sard. Centre half back. The crowd involved early. Kicks out for Cottrell. Can't trap the half volley. Close to the boundary line. He and Ash tangle for it. Cottrell keeps it in. And no, he doesn't. The umpire says it's out of play, so a boundary throw in. What did you make of the start, Murph? Almost like a college football game.
Yeah, it was. I'm trying to just nail the college team that it is that has that chant before they run out.
So that's great. Fantastic.
Good to see the crowd get involved with the game to start.
Thrown back in to Goning, takes front position against Briggs and slaps it down to the front. Ball bounces around. Cunningham can't gather. Daniels can. Hand pass knocked away from Tom Green. It's in Newman's hands. He's locked up by Kelly and the umpire will throw it up. Adam Kingsley was asked about the possibility of Newman going to Toby Green. He said, don't see that tonight. So maybe a different challenge for Toby Green. As the Giants through Tom Green, gets the hand pass out to Canelio, kicks in the middle of the ground. Lloyd takes the mark. He looks to switch out towards Perryman. He marks on the broadcast side. Looks inside 50 towards Riccardi. Can't take the mark. Wiedering in front. He does gather though. Hand pass to Bedford. Dodging and weaving. Looks for a centering kick. It's a bullet that Daniel can't quite mark. It's picked up by Akers. Hand pass to Walsh on return. To Fisher. The hand pass to Wiedering and the Blues are out of defence.
He kicks to the wing. Wiedering. Perryman in the hole. Can't complete the mark. He was clipped high and a free kick for the Giants. Wiedering captaining the Cripsless Blues tonight. Paddy out, of course, after being banged up in that win up on the glitter strip last week. So Perryman to the top of the goal square. In from the side, big fly. Hogan, no mark. Sard had it, lost it. Back to Hogan, who's gang tackled and the ball up. So the Demons winners in Sydney by 21 points. It means Carlton will finish 5th regardless of what happens here. And for the Giants, they can get as high as 6th. Well, their season could end in 2 hours' time, so it's all on the line for them. Tom Green tackled at the restart. Ball spills to McGovern. Kicks a dart to centre-half back and finds Cottrell. Swings his kick wide to Cunningham, who marks on the outer wing. No score through 2.5 minutes.
Cunningham looks up. Hollands is running into space. He doesn't get it past Angwin, though. He takes the intercepting mark for the Giants. Between wing and centre-half back, he looks into the middle of the ground. Tom Green's the target. It's knocked away by Cunningham. Sard's onto it. Gets a hand pass forward to Hewitt. Angwin lays the tackle. Gets the hand pass and releases Hollands. The kick inside 50. Martin flies. Can't take the mark. Whitfield with a fist sees it out of play. Left forward pocket for the Blues. 3 minutes in. No score at Docklands.
So St Kilda sweating on this to work out whether they'll have a home final or not. Sydney to work out who they'll play. And, of course, the Western Bulldogs as to whether their season is over tonight and Mad Monday starts a few hours early or if they're playing in a fortnight's time. All to unfold over the next 2 hours. From the boundary throw-in, Briggs bounces off his knee down towards Himmelberg. Surge kick to half-back. Good mark. Brown has it at half-back. The Irishman for the Giants. 3 minutes in, no Sam Taylor for GWS, a laid out. McMullen gets the start, long kick down the wing. Riccardi fingertips to it, no mark. McGovern comes up to intercept. Hand pass away to DeConing, he gives it to Wiedering, goes back by hand. And the standing start for Kemp, he pulls the trigger dangerously, just got it to Akers, who knocks it centre half back. He tangles with Toby Green. And the ump says it's all okay. Akers to take his kick, centre half back for the Blues. No score through 3.5, 4 minutes.
Just having a look, Mitch McGovern's been alongside Toby Green on a few occasions. So
a couple of times.
Toby would like that matchup.
He would. But Nick Newman goes to him when it's D50 stoppage, so keep an eye on that one. We'll see who really locks down when push comes to shove.
Akers to Wiedering at left half back, sends the Blues up the wing. Harry Mackay flies, can't take the mark. Turns to the umpire, thought his arms was chopped. No whistle. Hollands is tackled and dispossessed. Angwin for the Giants. Gets the hand pass away. Hogan swings onto his right hand side. A high up and under kick. Brown's underneath it with McGovern as well. Toby Green gathers. Kicks towards Bedford. He's outnumbered 3-on-1 though. The Blues through Akers. Gets the hand pass to Mitch McGovern. It's centre half back. Through the middle of the ground. Can't clear Tom Green. Takes it back for the Giants.
Trying to go corridor. It's coming back with interest as Tom Green short to Kelly. Looks from long range and pumps through the first score of the game. It's a behind. Just the wrong side of the goalpost. For Josh Kelly, we got a score. 4.5 minutes in and behind for the Giants.
They look sharp, the Giants boys, at the moment. They're setting up the ground really well. Putting a lot of pressure on the Blues, making them go for kicks they probably don't want to.
Got Brody Kemp too playing on the man who kicked 9 goals last week in Jesse Hogan.
McGovern long down the middle. Curno's the target. Spoiled away from him. Ash for the Giants. Hand pass to Tom Green. Gets the hand pass to Perryman. A high kick inside 50. Brown flies. Can't come down with the footy. At the back, it's Jacob Wiedering for the Blues. Hand pass to Kemp. Chips it to the back pocket. It's an awkward ball, but Fisher marks. On his knees as he claimed the mark. He kicks for Walsh. Can't take the mark. Spoiled down. Onto it Whitfield. Swings onto his right. The goalkeeper's back and Wiedering takes the mark. Millimetres out from his defensive goal line. The Giants with the only score a point through the opening 5 minutes.
One member of that famous club, the number 1 picks from the Carlton Football Club and all the greats that have gone before him as Wiedering kicks out to half-back. No mark, falls down towards Owies. Hand pass to Akers, he's off and running. Gives it back to Owies, hand pass back to Akers. Feeds it up into the front half. Cottrell on the wing, hand pass to Walsh. Kicks inside 50, hands on it, Himmelberg, no mark. Hits the deck inside the Blues forward arc. Perryman clears. Bouncing footy out to half-back. Sard suckers it into the forward pocket. Himmelberg, hand pass away to Angwin. He's crunched. Coughs it up. Mackay half forward for the Blues. Gives it to Hewitt off his non-preferred left boot. Kicks into the pocket. Sard flies. Spills to Durden. Short kick goalward. Kind bounce for Cottrell. Sockers through the first. This goalless game is no more. And it's the man with orange hair against the orange team who kicks the first of the game. 6.5 minutes travelled. Carlton 1 straight. GWS 1 behind. Mark Murphy, Brett Delidio.
Well, he's turned himself into a really good player, Matty Cottrell. He's such a hard worker, aerobically very strong, but just a smart footballer. And then just playing wing at the moment, but just getting hard forward and just challenging his opposing winger from the Giants. But it's a really hot game so far, isn't it? There's been quite a few mistakes. The Giants have forced Carlton into a lot of errors already early, but they just haven't been able to make them pay on the turnover. And it was almost the first time that Carlton have really gone forward with any type of anger and have actually scored. So one against the run of play there.
Always the way, though, isn't it? You don't capitalise when you've got the run of play, and you go down the other end and the other team scores.
Brett Delidio and Mark Murphy with you on ABC Sport. 6-3, the inside 50s. The Giants' way. Chera for the Blues gets the hand pass to Walsh. Back to Chera to Akers. Just pumped off his hand pass as he tries to link up with Hewitt. Under the pressure of McMullen, it spills to Walsh. Free kick, high contact. And the Blues won't get the advantage as Harry Mackay took the mark. So they're actually penalised as the ball will come back to the middle of the ground. George Hewitt will take it to the right of the centre circles. Carlton leading by 5 points as Hewitt kicks as long as he can in the direction of Charlie Curnow. It clears him. And at the back, Ash gathers for the Giants. Hand pass to Cornelio. Game 200. Hard against the boundary. Sends it up towards Keith. In a wrestle with Wiedering. It gets to the back. Wiedering gathers. Hand pass to Newman. Underground. Links up with Fisher. Spots Walsh free. Gives him the hand pass at right half forward. Swings onto his right-hand side. Along towards the Twin Towers. Over the back, Iden. It spills towards Owies. Can he get a boot at it? He can't. It's right to the goal line. And the Giants eventually clear. Angwin with a barrel up towards half-back. Fisher in front. Can't take the mark. Newman gathers on his left-hand side. Turns on goal. It's right to the goal line. It might be there. A lunging effort from Buckley will go upstairs as he cannons into the right goalpost. Did he get a touch on it?
Umpire's call is behind. Please check to see if he's touched.
And the arc is coming into play.
Yeah. Goal line. Decision on the scoreboard.
Looks like his left hand was able to touch it before it crossed the line. And he will deny the shot from Nick Newman. And it will be a behind for the Blues. So they're 1-1-7 and the Giants 1 behind. 9 minutes gone. Opening term on ABC Sport.
Ash in the famous number 7 for the Giants. Kicks to half back and Himmelberg takes the mark.
Reece Palmer.
A 6-point lead for Carlton, 9 minutes in. Brett Delidio and Mark Murphy. Corbin Middlemass, Matt Clinch calling the footy. Ben Cameron on the boundary for the final game, the 207th and final match of the home and away season. The long kick from Himmelberg down the wing, whacked out of bounds, and we'll have a throw in right on halfway, City side. Carlton have won the last 3 meetings, including back in round 3 where we had the controversial hands out his 50 against Steve Canelio,
right.
the descent free kick, and Motlop popped it through. A close run thing, the Blues winners that night by 10 points for the boundary throw-in. Always keeps it alive. Hand pass inboard to Dow, who steps around a would-be tackler. Kicks inside 50. Mackay, hands on it, no mark. Follows up as it hits the deck. Jams it on the boot. Punched away by Perryman. Wants the safety of the boundary line. And Mackay tackled out of play. Umpire says it's all okay. And spin it in. Left forward pocket for Carlton. The Blues to the Coventry end of his opening term. 10 minutes in. Carlton by 6.
I know we made a lot of the Sam Taylor being out, but Jack Buckley's every bit as good a defender as Sammy Taylor in terms of being able to stay with Charlie Curnow. So he's going to have his work cut out for him.
Himmelberg on Mackay as it's thrown back in. Briggs knocks it down. A chance for the Giants to clear as Ash gets the hand pass away to Canelio. Around the body. Toby Green has a fly. Can't come down with the footy. Hollins is locked up and the umpire will board up. Left half forward for the Blues. At Carlton leading by 6 points. The Blues fighting back with some of those inside 50s after the early dominance by the Giants. From the ball up, a chance for the Giants to clear. Brown can't get a clearing disposal. Dow's onto it. Hacks the kick inside 50. Oh, he's gathered on his chest. He's locked up and can't break clear. And the umpire will board up with Perryman locking the footy to his chest. 35 metres out from the Blues' goal.
Sam Taylor out with a hamstring injury, so McMullen in his second game starts. Haynes is the sub for GWS. And for Carlton, the sub is Marchbank. From the restart, hurried kick forward from the Blues, but Himmelberg's there to chop it off. Got a hand pass away to Ash. Off the back flank, floats a high ball out the city boundary line. Hands on it from Hogan, but couldn't collect the footy to Koning. Hands it to Sard for the Blues. Floats one inside 50. Mackay crashes the pack, spills to Durden. Chucks it on the boot, and Curnow takes the sprawling mark, plays on, and ties up the Coleman. He's got his first of the day. Carlton with the first 2. And he moves to 76 on the goal scorer's tally, equal with Taylor Walker. And every Carlton player in the vicinity rushes to him. The Blues by 2 goals, Mark Murphy.
Yeah, and so they should rush to him, but they all should rush to Harry Mackay. He's competed really hard in his first initial 10 minutes, and that goal just on the back end of Harry Mackay competing for a mark which it looked like was going to be an easy uncontested mark for the Giants player in their D50, but Harry was able to get a contest on it, hit a body and get the ball forward, and Charlie gets on the end of it and joins the Coleman medal lead with big Tex Walker.
Can't see him missing from here, can you? I think he's taking this one home.
The crowd are right involved with it.
Well, the Carlton fans feel like that's what they came for. Not only to knock out a contender, but to see Charlie in a starring role. To Koning wins down the tap. Chera can't get a disposal away. He eventually does get it to Hewitt, but not without Ward getting a touch onto it and locking it up in the middle of the ground. Ben Cameron on the boundary.
It's quite incredible when this Blues crowd all go up as one. By gee, they love Charlie. That was something to behold down here as they all celebrated that mark and goal.
Blues having won their last 9 matches. De Koning wins it down to Ward. A free kick over the shoulder, and the Giants will get it in the middle of the ground.
50.
Footy wasn't returned to Cal Ward, so it will be 50.
He just lost what he was doing then, Zach Fisher.
Just dropped it.
He's just like, who's this got to go to? And I'll just handball to the grass.
Yeah, it was a genuine brain fade, wasn't it? And you could just see it coming.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that he was actually... I was like, just handball back to Cal Ward. That's exactly where it needs to go, and he's just let it dribble off his hand.
Just the bloke in the orange jumper rather than the ground.
Callum Ward taken from the middle of the ground to 30 metres out directly in front.
Put this in the book, Clinchy. This bloke's a beautiful set shot.
The Giants games record holder looking to get them going on this Sunday night with the finals in their hands. He puts it straight through the middle. Giants on the board with their opening goal. They're 1-1-7, trailing the Blues 2-1-13. 13 minutes gone, opening term. Never in doubt from Brett Delidio.
Yeah, the reason I say that, I used to have a kicking competition with Cal back in the day. I used to think I was going all right, but he is an absolute dead-eye. I'm glad the Giants have got on the board there, though. It's just starting to lose their shape with the ball staying inside the Blues forward 50. The pressure from the Blues so far has been immense. You know, they're just being caught hacking that ball out of their defensive 50, and they're set up so strongly behind the ball here, the Blues. Well done. It always helps when you get a 50, no doubt, but always good to get that first goal on the board in a cutthroat game.
Hoping to play in a 16th final in a fortnight, Cal Ward. Quite remarkably, GWS have 7 guys playing tonight that have never played in a final compared to Carlton, who have only 5 guys that have. And only or none of them, in fact, previously, of course, with Carlton. A decade since their last trip to September. Paddy Dow held without it in the middle, kicks to half forward. Curnow rises up into the back of Perryman and pulls down a hanger. And sets the perfect stage to clinch the Coleman medal as he'll go back on the back of the mark to have a set shot here from right half forward, 50 out.
Well, some might ask how he got that much space, but
he reads it so quick.
He just read the ball that quick, and it was
He's
just
electric
like
off the mark.
An athlete about to jump over the high jump pole. He's an athlete, isn't he?
Oh, specimen.
In he comes for his second. Charlie Curnow is Charlie Coleman again. In back-to-back years, the greatest goal kicker in the game. Curnow with 77 and counting. Carlton by 12 points. Ben Cameron on the boundary.
Yeah, Murph and Leeds, you weren't the only ones wondering how he got that much space. Adam Kingsley directly in front of me immediately turned around, said, "Expletives, show me that." They flicked from the champion data screen to the replay screen. He looked at it, was, it's fair to say, really displeased, and gave a lot of instruction to the bench, and I think a message will be going out very shortly.
How about it, Murph?
To think that he was in 2021 getting his first opportunity after a long time out, and to go back-to-back Colemans, just what an effort.
And you think about all the challenges in the 3 years where he barely played any footy. Ward gets the clearance of the Giants back in the middle. Hand pass to Tom Green. He's able to link up with Whitfield. His kick is a turnover though. Intercept mark taken by Akers of the Blues. To Fisher, it comes inboard. Harry Mackay takes the mark. Cannon into by Keefe. The umpire wasn't in a great position. He had to realise that it was his turn to blow the whistle.
It's a booze for. Make him earn it.
Harry Mackay has the ball in the middle of Docklands. He looks up. Where's Charlie? Sends it in that direction. In fact, it's Martin who flies from behind. Can't take the mark. The Giants under pressure. Whitfield gets the hand pass to Perryman, who kicks out towards the boundary line. Racing after it is McGovern. The other direction is Brown. And it goes out of play in front of the Giants bench. Carlton by 12 points. 3-1-19 to the Giants 1-1-7. Matt Clinch and Corbin Minimas calling the action. Ben Cameron down on the boundary. Mark Murphy and Brett Delidio are your experts. Thrown in. Harry Mackay having a run in the ruck. Wins down the tap. In the direction of Walsh. He's tackled immediately by Tom Green. Under pressure. Keefe tackled. Looked to throw it. No whistle. Gathered by Sard of the Blues. Hand pass away to Akers. Kicks up towards half forward. Whitfield dropped the mark. Himmelberg under pressure. Durden with a great tackle. Whitfield trying to clear it. Just volleys it in the middle of the ground. But sliding in. Cottrell takes the mark.
Cottrell can put the Blues deep. He's looking for one man. Curnow in the wrestle. Had a fair piece of it. Says it's paid. Curnow in the one-on-one. The kick landed straight on his chest. It was pushed out moments later by Buckley, but the umpire said, "You had enough of that, Charlie."
Come on, Matty.
What do you reckon, Lids? Tell me.
Oh, mate, that's less time than Gary Ablett's mark in the goal square a few years ago. Oh, my God. Anyway, we're here for the theatre.
Charlie Curnow kicks it into the man on the mark. Ricochets back to Curnow. Now from the pocket, the tougher kick stopped by the goalkeeper. And Iden can clear to half-back for the Giants.
Sends it out to McMullen. A late in for Sam Taylor. I wonder what he's thinking as he's watching on as Charlie Curnow is putting on a show. Kicks inboard to Kelly. All of a sudden the Giants just need a little bit of composure. After dominating the inside 50s early, they find themselves 12 points down. Kelly comes inboard to Ash. He marks 35 metres out from his defensive goal. Thought about switching play to left half back. Instead now takes a bounce. Takes on Martin, who offers chase. He runs a fair way, Ash. Eventually gets away. Sends it up towards half forward. Flying was Daniels. Can't come down with the footy. Briggs is tackled by McGovern. Squeeze a kick forward. Daniels trying to link up with Kelly. He gathers. Gets a hand pass towards Tom Green. Knocks it down to Bedford. The fend off on Chera. He turns it over. And Kemp gathers for the Blues. Half pass to Walsh. He links up with Newman. He has Walsh in good support on half-back.
Walsh kicks down the wing. Durden lands in front of him. Collects. Tackled by Himmelberg front on. Durden keeps the footy. Got a hand pass away to Cunningham. Kicks down the wing. Fogarty marks. Can send the Blues inside 50. The kick for Owies and dropping back Iden takes the intercept mark for GWS. Carlton by 2 goals. Charlie Curnow's kicked 2. He's wrapped up the Coleman medal for a second straight year. Joins Brennan Favola as the only other dual Coleman medalist. Have to go back to the years of 06 and 09 when Favola won, and of course 3 straight years for Carlton with Mackay winning 2 years ago. Ash's kick into the middle of the ground is horrific. Slides through to Sard. Hand pass for the Blues to Newman. Gives it to Dow. Hand pass to Mackay. Short kick to Cunningham. Spins out of one tackle from Whitfield. Kicks to an unguarded goal square. He's offline. Mark it down as behind for David Cunningham. So Tom Carroll in 1961, Favola in 06 and 09, Mackay in 2021, and now Curnow in back-to-back years, the leading goal kicker in the league. So 2022 and 23, the Blues by 13 points as we tick into time on in the opening term.
Coming to bring the Giants back into play. He takes a bounce and dashes into the right back pocket. He'll drive it as far as he can up to the city wing. McGovern's well set, and he marks in front of Riccardi. Doesn't even push back behind his mark. Chips it to Fogarty. He marks out to the left, just outside 50. He veers out to the right. Where's Charlie Curnow? He's in the top of the goal square. The reinforcements get back. Whitfield gets a fist onto it and sees it through for a minor score. All hands on deck when the ball's going inside 50 towards Charlie Curnow. The Blues by 14 points.
Send the runner out to Blake Acres and say, when you crash into our prize possession in Charlie Curnow again, mate, you'll be sitting.
Do not do that again.
You will be subbed out. Just smacked him from behind.
Whitfield on the kick out. Goes short to Ash in the back pocket. Been busy early. This will be possession number 8. Goes on a bit of a stroll, and Lockie Ash sends the Giants down the wing. Off hands, it spills through to Jim Cotto. Got a hand pass back into dispute. The Giants knock it forward to Toby Green. Got a hand pass back inboard to Riccardi. Kicks inside 50. They're on the overlap, and Keith takes the mark. Centre half forward, marks 35 out, and was uncontested right in the corridor, and they caught them on in transition.
Yeah, Carlton's got a bit too high then in the contest, and the Giants had probably 1 or 2 spares ahead of the football. So if they're not going to impact the contest in the air or on the ground, Carlton, you can find them. We can find a bit of space at the back, and that's what you saw there. They didn't kill the ball in the air, and O'Keefe was out the back.
Lockie Keefe hasn't kicked one this year, just 17 in his 108-game career. It'll be a timely one to quiet down Docklands. Through it goes. And GWS cut the Blues lead back to single digits. 3-3-21 Carlton. GWS moved to 2-1-13, 8-point game. 22 gone opening term. Mark Murphy, Brett Delidio.
It's a big attempted spoil there from Tommy de Koning coming over the top, and he took out McGovern as well at the same time. Wiedering just allowed that soft drop, really. It didn't clear the initial area, and that's where the Giants boys were sweating on it. Some fast hands, Toby Green on the inside to Riccardi running through, and Lockie Keefe just holding his position, really lengthening that ground, allowing trying to stretch that Carlton defence, and got out the back. Cal Brown, one of the quickest out there, he was trying to race to the goal square for a cheapie, but well done Lockie Keefe. Doesn't kick a lot, but needed that one for sure.
In his 12th year, Lockie Keefe, Brett Delidio and Mark Murphy with you on ABC Sport. Briggs back into the middle of the ground up against de Koning. De Koning got a last touch to it, but it's Canelio who'll get the clearance. Kicks on his left, looking for Bedford. Fisher somehow got a spoil to it. Newman knocks it back to Fisher. Inside the defensive 50 for the Blues. He kicks out to Akers. And marks it right half back. Carlton leading by 8 points. Sends it up towards Sam Walsh. He marks not far from when Ben Cameron's watching on.
Yeah, Jacob Wiedering came off the ground cradling his left hand, so either a finger or a hand issue, but he's gone down into the rooms, Jacob Wiedering.
Thanks, Ben. Hewitt can't break through the tackle, and he's holding the ball. Trying to take on Canelio, who wrapped him up, and he dropped the footy. So Steve Canelio, who's rediscovered his best footy, the former Giants captain, sends it long towards half forward. Briggs is there, and McGovern, a huge fly on his shoulders, can't come down with it. De Koning with a hand pass to Walsh. It's pitched by Tom Green. Hand pass to Riccardi, awkward ball for him. Knocks it down to Toby Green. Swings onto his right. Gets the Giants going. Never far from the action, Toby Green, and he made something work there with a few fumbles for the Giants inside their forward 50. And Carlton's lead is cut back to 2 points. 3-3-21 to the Giants 3-1-19. 24 minutes gone, opening term on ABC Sport.
Yeah, well, just space out the back. It was another contest that was in the air, and Carlton, what's really good about what Carlton do, they swarm the contest, but if you hold your width and you hold your length outside that and you get a great contest around where the ball is, you can find some space on the outside, and the Giants have done that on 2 occasions already, and they've resulted in 2 goals in the last couple of minutes. So smart football there by the Giants forwards.
That Wiedering news is big.
I think it was a finger. I saw a replay before, so I was.
That's why he didn't spoil it and clear the area.
Dislocated finger.
Dislocated finger.
Brett Delidio alongside Mark Murphy. Grandstand AFL. So the Blues by 2 points with it all to play for the Giants. And of course, Carlton really representing the Western Bulldogs for that last place of the 8. The Dogs watching on anxiously as we've got Tom Green tackled by Walsh in the middle. We'll do it all again. Umpire chucks it up. One down by Briggs. Bedford pushed off it. Stolen by Walsh. Got a hand pass away to Cunningham. Gives it to Fisher. Whitfield came and got him. Ball out in the tackle. Says holding the ball, and Whitfield will get to take his kick. With the orange boots to match the outfit today. Hand pass on the inside to Ash. Kicks to the hot spot. Hands to it from Hogan. No mark. Falls down to Walsh. Tried to high fend off. Ran into trouble. Holding the ball. Great tackle. And Toby Green again just lifting his team. Kicks a goal, and now his defensive effort gives him the chance to double up.
Both teams have had some real moments of, been having the momentum at the moment, haven't they? Like the Giants started and the Blues had their little run, but now the Giants, they've got to capitalise. They've kicked the last couple. Great pressure in and around that forward 50 contest.
It's been on the back of some strong tackling, hasn't it?
Yeah. Something they've really focused on. This bloke's brought it all year.
What a player he is. Toby Green, as he skips in to put the G-men back on top. He hits the post. Carlton by a point. Momentum with the Giants. They've kicked 3 of the last 4. It's Carlton 3-3, GWS 3-2. 26 and a half minutes gone in the opening term. Last game of the home and away season.
On the SMS, 0437 774 774. Luca at Larks Bay wants to know if Murph and Lids are twitchy.
No, not at all. Just enjoying the big crowd.
McGovern up to Charlie Curnow, up the wing, cleverly knocked on by Turton, gets it to Hewitt, inside 50, he's the target, good spoil, getting back Lloyd, knocks it down to Himmelberg, he switches to the right back pocket, Daniel is after it, corralled by Chin Cotter, he swings back onto his right hand side, chips it to Cumming, showed good control and composure as he kicks a short ball up towards Tom Green, he marks it right half back, possession number 10 coming up for Tom Green, alongside Akers and Sam Walsh. Sends it out wide onto the city wing, up towards Ash at full stretch. He can't reel it in with his fingertips, and out of play. Centre wing on the outer side. Blues by a point. 27 minutes gone, opening term.
And that's why Daniel Lloyd is one of the most loved and respected players. He worked his backside off as the help side winger to come out and just save the shot on goal. Great spoil.
On the Dogs list, then became a carpenter on the Central Coast, back on the Giants list and retiring at the end of the season. Briggs grabs it out of the ruck, he's tackled. Remember, we changed that rule as Fisher kicks down to half forward, spills to Durden front and centre, high half forward for the Blues, hand pass to Cunningham, handball to Walsh, 60 out, kicks into the pocket, he's the target, trying to break it up, Cumming forces it out of play. And a boundary throw in forward pocket for Carlton. And he signed a Jacob Wiedering, Ben Cameron on the boundary.
Yeah, he's just waddled back to the bench and he's got his fingers strapped, so he's A-OK. He'll be back out there, but fingers strapped on his right hand.
Sam Walsh hasn't missed a beat. Coming back from 4 or 5 weeks out, having the 10 disposals already.
Harry Mackay doing the ruck work. Briggs wins down the tap, though. Coming with the tackle. He locks the ball up, but the tackle was a little over the shoulder in the eyes of the umpire. And Matt Owies will have the shot on goal. Read the tap superbly, and in the end, the tackle was just a little sloppy.
Yeah, it was just a secondary tackle, wasn't it, to try and bring him down to ground. Initially, it was a good tackle, but then just slipped up high, trying to bring him down.
Easy to do. Not a big bloke.
178, that's big enough, isn't it?
Compared to you, yeah.
179, I have.
The former basketball Matt Owies, who's third in Carlton's leading goal scorers this season, from out to the left, just inside 50. It's a good kick, and he steers it straight through the middle. Carlton get the response after Toby Green misses at the other, and the Blues are back out by 7 points. 4-3-27 to the Giants 3-2-20. 29 minutes gone, opening term on ABC Sport.
Well, he'd be the only bloke who'd have to apply ice to his chest at the end of a game because he smacks it that hard after every goal he kicks.
Well,
he loves it, doesn't he?
He does it on a couple of occasions a week, so you've got to hand it to him. And he was doing it when they weren't winning either.
Yeah.
Matty Owies. So you've got to give him that. He's not one of these blokes that now that it's all 9 games on the trot. He was doing it when they were going through a tough period, and he's one of those guys that the players love playing with because he gives his all. He's not the most talented player, but he's always there when it counts, and he gets very passionate about kicking a goal, doesn't he?
Loves a chest pump.
Oh. So if we had a bracket for best celebrators in the league, he would be a top seed.
I wouldn't say best, but he's a big celebrator.
Yep. He'd have his own section of the draw as DeConing wins the hit out back in the middle. Briggs had a handle on it, lost it. DeConing inadvertently soccers it backwards. Comes to Akers. He just jams it on the boot, dumps it inside the forward 50. Why not when Curno's flying for him? He comes through, can't take the mark. Spills to Cunningham, hands it out to Owies. Hand pass to Chera, Blues retreating though, gives it to Hewitt, pokes it inside 50 now. Akers back with the flight, courageous. Perryman spoils, down to Buckley. Hand pass to Cumming, gives it to Ash. He kicks to halfback. Sart there on the one-on-one with Bedford, they both miss it. Ball slides through to halfback for the Giants. Lloyd's there. Oh, hand pass missed Bedford, close to the boundary line. Hollands pushes him back onto it. And Bedford collects, gives it to Whitfield. Hand pass to Lloyd, away to Tom Green, who's off and running down the wing. Spears the kick short and links up with Riccardi. Carlton by 7 points, half-hour mark in this opening term.
Looks to come inboard to Lockie Ash, who takes the mark. No one's on the mark, so he tries to charge forward. Owies is after him, but he delivers it up to centre-half forward, where Toby Green takes the mark. He dribbles a kick inside 50. Daniels couldn't take the mark. Chincotta picks it up for the Blues. Hand pass back to Paddy Dow, who goes all the way back to Akers. He's looking for options in the right back pocket. Almost took too long as Canelio charged at him, and Angwin underneath takes a good mark. Approaching quarter time. He's got Canelio in the pocket. He missed him. Now Angwin looking for options towards the teeth of goal. Sends it there. Hogan comes charging out to Koning. Marks on his chest for the Blues. And that'll just about do us for the opening quarter. 31 minutes gone. Carlton lead by 7 points at the first break. 4-3-27 to the Giants, 3-2-20. So if the match was to finish now, the Giants would be out and the Western Bulldogs would be in. The Blues leading by 7 points. Earlier today, it was Port Adelaide who locked in third spot on the AFL ladder. 31-point winners over the Tigers, and the Demons by 21 points over the Sydney Swans, with Bailey Fritsch booting 5. For the Blues, Charlie Curnow has locked up the Coleman medal. Back-to-back Colemans with 2 goals in the opening term. Individuals to Owies and to Cottrell. Meanwhile, for the Giants, Toby Green, Ward, the goal kickers for them.
And Keith.
Yep.
Just quickly, Clenchy, while you were calling that last passage of play, Adam Sard was involved in a tangle with Toby Bedford, and Sard, when he hit the deck, has landed awkwardly on his left ankle. So he was with the trainer in back play. We'll get Ben to keep an eye on it, but he's actually sitting down behind the Blues huddle at the moment and has 4 trainers around him. So we'll get an update in a moment, but concern for Adam Sard.
The final match of the home and away season in 2023. It's the Blues who lead by 7 points on Grandstand AFL on ABC Radio, ABC News Radio, ABC Sport Digital, and now streaming on the ABC Listen app.
ABC Listen.
The police say they can't be sure the 2 fires are linked.
A number of anti-Asian posters have been...
admit the coincidence is highly suspicious.
I was only 8 when my family was targeted as part of a series of terror attacks.
Join Crispian Chan on this deeply personal investigation.
I need to know exactly how it happened and what they'd say now if I found them.
Firebomb, the new series of the Unravel True Crime podcast. Find it on the ABC Listen app.
Grandstand AFL.
Now streaming every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Spills to Durden, short kick goalward, kind bounce for Cottrell, soccers through the first. This goalless game is no more. Floats one inside 50, Mackay crashes the pack, spills to Durden, chucks it on the boot, Curnow takes the sprawling mark, plays on and ties up the Coleman. He's got his first of the day. Carlton with the first 2.
Taconi wins it down to Ward, a free kick over the shoulder, and the Giants will get it in the middle of the crowd. 50-40 wasn't returned to Cal Ward, so it will be 50. The Giants games record holder looking to get them going on this Sunday night with the finals in their hands. He puts it straight through the middle. Giants on the board with their opening goal.
Now Paddy Dow held without it in the middle, kicks to half. Rises up into the back of Perryman and pulls down a hanger. In he comes for his second. Charlie Curnow is Charlie Coleman again. in back-to-back years, the greatest goal kicker in the game.
It's picked by Tom Green. Hand pass to Riccardi. Awkward ball for him. Knocks it down to Toby Green. Swings onto his right. Gets the Giants going.
The 2023 AFL season.
On radio
ABC Sport Digital.
and now streaming on the ABC Listen app.
Quarter time at Docklands in Melbourne. The Blues leading by 7 points, 4-3-27 to GWS 3-2-20. Matt Clinch and Corbin Middlemass calling on the action in a second. Mark Murphy and Brett Delidio, but Ben Cameron down on the boundary.
Yeah, as Corbin mentioned, Adam Saad just late in that quarter needed some assistance with an ankle injury after that tangle with Toby Bedford. Did get treatment on that ankle for about half of the quarter time break, but up and standing at the moment, boots on, seems ready to go for the second term.
It was a good start by both teams, really. You couldn't be upset. I think what would please the coach, other than Adam Kingsley obviously going bananas down there about Charlie Curnow getting off the leash a couple of times, was their pressure seems to be up. You know, I think both teams are forcing that high bomb kick at time. They're setting up the ground really well. Pressure in the forward half, especially those forward 50s, has been really immense. We've seen a couple of, dump kicks out that have resulted in coming back in and have another shot on goal, which is something that would really please both coaches. But essentially, I think it's going to be all about capitalising on your momentum. That's what it feels like at the moment with both these two teams.
Yeah, and the clearance numbers are 9 apiece at the moment, so it's been pretty even around the football. Sam Walsh, I made mention of him coming in and already having, I think he's had the 11 disposals so far. Adam Chera looks like he hasn't missed a beat as well, so I think Carlton are pretty happy by their look in there at the moment without Patrick Cripps. They've had Paddy Dow, Adam Chera and Sam Walsh with George Hewitt going through there at times. So I think they'll be pretty happy by the way in which they're going about it. Pittenay's obviously missing, so Tom Nikoning's had more of a ruck role today, and Harry Mackay's sort of been surprising having to come up and play in the ruck a little bit. So usually he'll never do that. So get him up and around the football, and I thought he's actually competed quite well today. But yeah, it's been a very even game, to be honest with you. I think the Giants would be pretty happy by the way in which they finished that quarter. They got themselves back into the game, and the place was pumping here when Charlie Curnow kicked his second to seal the Coleman medal. And it didn't look like danger signs, but the Blues were locking the ball inside their forward half really well, and it was a couple of sort of errors from Carlton in the air that allowed the ball to get out the back a couple of times, which they had those soft drops, and they allowed the Giants to get the ball on the outside, and they capitalised on 2 occasions. So I think they'll be pretty happy by the way in which they got those goals. They were able to stretch Carlton's defence, which is something that they need to do if they're going to win this game.
That's what the Carlton fans came to see. Charlie Curnow in the opening quarter. He wins back-to-back Colemans. On the SMS 0437 774 774. Grant Hobart wants to know whether he bumped into Paddy Cripps so far this week. Is he okay, and will he be right for the first final?
Yeah, I actually saw him yesterday for a coffee and he was fine. So he just resting up before his first finals campaign in his career.
There you go, Grant. Good question. Guys, there's a large and very excited Italian presence watching the game at the Reservoir RSL, barracking for the Blues. That's from Andrew. And Rory, our blind listener from Reservoir, wants to know the possibilities around Thursday night, pies and D's. We'll run you through all the possibilities as to what it might be once we know the results. Second quarter underway. Briggs wins down the tap for the Giants. Dow can't get a boot to it. Tackled and brought down. A chance for Cornelio. He links up with Tom Green. Hand pass to Kelly. Charges away from Chera. Got him with a late tackle. Hand pass put Whitfield under enormous pressure. Great tackle from Hewitt. Hand pass forward by Chera. But it's Iden for the Giants who gathers at centre half back. Kicks out towards Bedford. A brilliant kick out to the city wing. He takes the mark and feeds the hand pass away. Linking up is Lloyd. Works it to half forward. Whitfield inside 50. Hogan takes the mark. Off the back of his 9 goals last week. Had a chance for 10. Jesse Hogan trying to get involved.
I think the umpire missed one there in the middle of the ground where Lockie Whitfield got his arms up trying to avoid the tackle and then tried to dispose of the football and basically dropped the ball. But I don't think there was too many happy Carlton fans seeing that one. But good work by Toby Bedford out the far side. He's a really important player, I think, for the Giants. Gets up and down the ground really quick and provides options and then gets hard forward. So I like the way in which he's moving.
Hogan, left of centre, shooting from around 40 metres out, looking to try and pull the Giants back. He puts it through to make it a 1-point ball game. And the Giants with the opening goal of the second quarter inside 90 seconds. Carlton 4-3-27 to the Giants 4-2-26. And off the back of their 126-point victory over the Bombers last week, Jesse's on the board.
Well, it's really well read by Connor Iden there at centre-half back. Jack Martin was shooting out the back, he thought it was going to be a Carlton ball. Connor Iden kept tracking it. A great kick over to Toby Bedford that you mentioned. And then the fast movement, Daniel Lloyd, the handball, but then it was a handball forward again. Whitfield and Cornelio spreading together. Great kick. That's what Lockie Whitfield's known for, his ability to come off half-back and hit little darts. Very hard to stop.
They need to move the ball quick like that. Just doesn't allow Wiedering to set up his defence.
Exactly.
You can try and catch them on the hop if you're prepared to move the ball quick and with risk.
Carlton by 1. Crooked bounce favours Briggs. Wins the head out. Dowd. Drags it in. Face down on the turf. And in the end, the ball spits out. Chera's tackled. And we'll have a ball up alongside the centre circles anyway. Carlton by a point. If they win, the Bulldogs play finals. If GWS win, they take the Dogs' place. And GWS will be there themselves from the restart. Dow got a hand pass out to Cunningham. Clearance for the Blues. Sets it up for Akers. High half forward. Kicks from Mackay. Over he and Himmelberg. Slides out of bounds. And a throw in right forward pocket for Carlton. Blues to the locket end in the second term. Kerno with 2 in the game and locked up the Coleman medal in the opening quarter. In fact, in the first 16 minutes, first time since 93-95 that the Coleman stayed with the same club for 3 straight years.
Thrown back in, Briggs knocks it down for the Giants into the path of Cornelio. Gets the hand pass to Whitfield. Hard against the boundary. Kicks over the head of Hogan. Charging out, Wiedering for the Blues with that finger. He knocks it to Chincotta. Linking up with Chera. Hand pass downloaded to Koning. Quick hand pass to Cunningham. Trying to get it back to Chera. Jams it onto his right-hand side. Inside 50 looking for Charlie Curnow. Dragged down was Harry Mackay. Charlie Curnow still gathers. Hand pass to Fogarty. Swings onto his right-hand side. It's offline. And Iden drops the mark. Racing back, no doubt, trying to work out where the behind post was. In the end, he fumbled it. And it goes out of play for a throw-in up against the left behind post. Carlton by a point.
Giants boys dipped their hands in Vass, I think, there at quarter time. Big Briggsy had liked that one back again, and Connor could have locked that one up as well.
3.5 into the second term. Carlton by a point. Shallow throw-in. Mackay grabs it out of the ruck, runs into his teammate Martin. Ball comes out. Whitfield gives it to Iden for the Giants. Hand pass away to Ward, kicks out of the defensive arc, up the boundary line and bounces off the elbow at the end of Keith and over the boundary line. Throw in front of the benches where Sam Walsh is just patrolling up and down.
He's a big man, Lockie Keith. Jacob Wiedering's a monster and he's making him look small.
The best sweaters in the game, Lockie Keith.
Thrown in. Koning knocks it down. Tom Green awkwardly kicks up towards Brown. He pulls in the mark. Not paid for 15. So his hand pass missed the intended target. Fisher slides in front of Daniels. The pack forms and eventually it does come out. Brown got it forward to Daniels. Tackled and dispossessed. Paddy Dow's kick ricochets off an opponent. Umpire says it's coming back. He was dumped in the tackle in the eyes of the umpire. And Paddy Dow will take it. Just to the right of the AFL logo on the dock side here at Docklands. The Blues leading by a point. He can chip it over the top to Chera. He's still 2 kicks out from goal though. Chera swings onto the right-hand side, sends it long towards Harry Mackay. He can't get a run at it. Spoiled down to the front. Bedford knocks it onto Whitfield. Almost pinched by Akers. Top of the goal square. He's the tackle on Ash now. Can't rip the ball clear. In front of the Carlton faithful who are leaning over the fence. The umpire will ball it out. Just 10 metres out from goal.
Blues by 1. Up it goes. Briggs wins it down. Himmelberg jams it on his boot, but there's a high tackle that's going to Briggs for the ruck infringement. The crowd tells the story, almost sold out. Just about all of them wearing navy blue. The last send-off before a first final series in a decade for Carlton. Long kick out the half-back. Hogan with the early fly. Lands in the lap of Keith, and the mark's going to be paid. Working up the half-back, playing up front today for GWS. It's Carlton by a point. 4-3 to 4-2. The kick down the wing. Wiedering just moves aside Toby Green. Takes the intercept mark. Half-back for Carlton. Blues by 1 as the game just settles down for a moment. Everyone can exhale. High-octane opening term. Curnow clinching the Coleman. And, of course, high stakes tonight. The Giants playing for their spot in September. And the Western Bulldogs need the Blues to win for them. Off centre half-back, Newman goes with a long kick out to McGovern. And again, he's just going to pump the brakes. Defensive side of the wing. City side, McGovern with the footy. Carlton by a point.
Sends it long towards Mackay. In a wrestle with Himmelberg. Harry pulls in the one-handed mark. Had the footy knocked out of his hands as well. Carlton fans wanted 50. He gets on with the show. Swings out to the left. Long towards Charlie. Can't get there. It's underneath him. And the mark is taken by Buckley at the back. Charlie Curnow doesn't miss time. Too many leaps, but on that occasion, just off. Buckley hugs the boundary line with a kick to Lloyd. He comes inboard to Whitfield. Still inside the defensive 50 for the Giants.
Whitfield comes out of the defensive arc. Here's Perryman. Takes the mark, moves it on immediately. Kicks beyond the wing, wants to find Hogan reaching for it. No mark, slides through to Wiedering. Sweeping hand pass for the Blues, under pressure to Dow. Has to step around Keefe, he's caught. Holding the ball, free kick for Lockie Keefe between wing and half forward.
Well done, Lockie Keefe. Dow's got a great step on him.
That's a great kick too. Puts it under the chest of Toby Green, who leads up the centre half forward, takes the mark. And he points at the sticks. He'll have to kick it all of 50.
Done some really important things so far today, Lockie Keefe. I know he's kicked the one goal himself with that play there, but he's competing hard, isn't he? He's really strong in the air. I may have mentioned him before being an absolute monster of a man. I didn't realise how big he was, but just really important play there to not be fooled by the step of Paddy Dow, because he does get quite a few people, and then to deliver to the skipper. Great ball use.
Perhaps the best big game player in the game at present, Toby Green. With his boots hitting the 50-metre arc, that is pure. Puts the Giants back on top. They take the lead for the first time since the opening 5 minutes. It's GWS by 5 points. 5-2-32, Carlton 4-3-27. Change your life ladder. The Giants are in at present, 8 gone, second term.
Come on, the G-men. I'm going to say I'm not unbiased, don't I, on Indy Corby, but what would please me the most is probably the fact that they closed the space really quickly. It wasn't, the tackle was great. Paddy Dow, you spoke about his ability to sidestep, but they're just not giving them enough time. And it was, Wiedering had it first, and someone closed down on him, and then the handball over to Dow, and Lockie Keefe closed that space really quickly. When you're doing that, it just puts teams under the pump. It doesn't allow them to make those really smooth decisions and transition the ball back the other end.
It's even that kick there is one out between 5 Carlton players. So it doesn't give them an opportunity to flood back and block up the leading lane. So back your leg in and hit the kick there while it's an opportunity.
2 goals, 1 for Toby Green. De Koning wins down the tap. A chance for Walsh. He's tackled over the shoulder, says the umpire. And a free kick going against Cal Ward just as the Giants are about to break clear. Walsh takes it, swings onto his right-hand side. Long kick towards Charlie Curnow. Can't take the mark. Martin front and centre, stripped of it. Keith's hand pass back to Himmelberg. He swings onto his left-hand side, out towards Brown. Can't gather. Chincotta slides in front. Clears a path for Holland. Gets the hand pass away to Chera. Kicks inside 50. Curnow comes out. Once more, can't get to the flight of the footy. And Himmelberg set up in front of him. Takes the intercepting mark for the Giants. GWS by 5 points. 10 minutes gone, second quarter. As Himmelberg takes a long time and now drives it as long as he can. Up the city wing. Brown and Hogan in the pack. Can't take the mark. Kemp tries to link up. Once more the hand pass to De Koning. Has a second go at it. Miss Chira with the hand pass. Cornelio squeezes a kick forward. A bouncing ball. Wiedering playing in front of Riccardi. He gathers for the Blues. Gets the hand pass to Newman on half back.
Giants by 5. Ball in motion. Newman touches it on the turf, then gets a Shepherd, then he's dealt with as he kicks it down the wing. All okay, set the spills through off hands to the run of Ash. He's onto it, gives a hot hand pass away. Off to Perryman, squeezes a kick down the wing, collected by Brown. Hand pass finds Anglin, floats a hand pass out in front of Daniels, looks back, corridor, got Cornelio, marks, plays on the run, trademark Steve Cornelio. In game 200, threads it. And GWS now lead by 11. Their biggest lead of the night, 11 minutes into the second term, 6-2-38, Carlton a 4-3-27. Giants by 11, Brett Delidio, Mark Murphy.
Well, standing up very well at the moment, the Giants. The Blues are really coming at them with their pressure and their press forward approach, but they're standing up well in the tackles and actually executing by hand and foot really well and finding space as a result. And Tom Green's one who's just getting off the chain in a big way, and I don't think it's Carlton's way to go to someone, but it might have to be a George Hewitt who might have to go to him for a little period of time here just to try and put the clamps on. But Stephen Coniglio in his 200th game, he's been an absolute star, and a trademark of when he's been at his best is getting forward hard and kicking goals as a midfielder.
Yeah, the family made their way here for this game, including those from Perth and his 90-year-old nonna. So no doubt she would have loved that moment as he put it through, the former captain. Briggs wins down the tap towards Kelly as Canelio gives it back to him. Hand pass to Cal Ward at the back edge of the centre square. He cuts past Sam Walsh, drives it up towards Daniels, who marks at the edge of the centre square. He almost played on, right into the path of McGovern. He now turns, looks for Toby Green, and he marks in the left forward pocket. He has Riccardi against the boundary, but he's thinking, I'll shoot on goal.
Yeah, well done, Cal Ward. I think Sam Walsh thought he was about to kick, but he just held onto the ball a little bit longer, and he didn't look wide. He went straight up the middle of the ground. But there was Brent Daniels sitting all by himself. He looked to probably go. Maybe took a step off his mark, Murph, but the quick little feed of little Binger found Toby sitting out.
Binger?
Yeah, that's his nickname, Binger Daniels.
The Giants are on a roll at the moment. Toby Green out to the left. He shoots for goal. He likes it off the boot, and he's got it. Green with his third. He's a hard man to keep out of the action. And he's sparking the Giants here. They lead by 17 points, playing for a spot in the finals. 7-2-44 to the Blues, 4-3-27. 4 goals to none so far in this second quarter.
Well, some good footy there just from some of the veteran stars of the Giants. And it was Caniglio who got the clearance in the centre square bounce. And then, as you spoke about, Cal Ward, who could have gone wide to an easier kick, but then just saw Daniels ahead of the football by himself. And as we know how good a player this bloke is, Toby Green, he just goes back. He doesn't look like he's going to miss when he has the ball inside 50.
What did he have, 5 touches last time against Nick Newman, or 6 touches? I think he's already got 3-1.
I think he's certainly put that one on the bank, hasn't he? And got a long memory from that last time where he'd be wanting to come out and put on a show, and he's certainly doing that so far.
Season low, 5 disposals, 3 scoring involvements. He's kicked 3 of his own already tonight. There's a free for an illegal Shepherd in the middle against Mackay. Briggs will get it. The Giants are going forward again. We're only 13 minutes into the second. They've kicked 4 already. Briggs to the top of the goal square. Wiedering stands in front of the pack. Spills down to Brown. Brown snaps goalward. He's offline. Misses. Out to the right and behind. But it is all GWS at the moment. The crowd silenced at Docklands. It is the Giants by 3 goals. 13.5 gone in this second term.
McGovern short to side in the back pocket. Swings on his right. Kicks up towards Charlie Curnow. Knocked down by Isaac Cumming. Front and centre is Lloyd. Hand pass away to McMillan, and the kick is smothered and out of play. McMillan, the late inclusion for Sam Taylor, who was out with hamstring tightness, and a boundary throw in just short of right half forward for the Giants. GWS by 18 points, 7-3-45 to the Blues, 4-3-27. Briggs sets himself in front of Mackay. He tries to take position and then knocks it down. First after it is Akers, though. Hard against the boundary for the Blues. Needs support. Hand pass to Fisher. He's tackled by Kelly. Gets the hand pass to Newman under pressure. Links up with Cunningham. Back to Akers. Daniels was charging at him. Kicks a high ball up the wing. Paddy Dow back with the fly. Great courage to take the mark.
Dow, hand pass away to the run of Walsh. Swings a hand pass further wide to Newman. Neat left footer. Finds Hoeyes. He marks right on the 50. Might be beyond him. He loads up anyway. Kicks it as far as he can. Curnow in the goal square. Flies for it. No mark. Hits the deck. Cottrell collects. Tackled immediately. Somehow got boot the ball. Hollands hands it to Martin. Martin threads it. Across the body. Stops the run for the Blues. And Jack Martin with one that Carlton were looking for to try and halt a bit of the GWS momentum. It's back to a 2-goal game. GWS 7-3, Carlton a 5-3. 15 gone second term. Mark Murphy, Brett Delidio.
Well, important contest from Paddy Dow here on the wing.
Oh, huge.
There was
big for his confidence too.
A couple of pairs coming hard at the football. It was Paddy Dow who ran back with a flight and then gave for the runner in Sam Walsh, who just got the ball hard forward, but just really strong in the tackle there, Matty Cottrell, who just followed up the football from the contest and was able to find a little boot to Ollie Hollands, who then just gave a nice little handball over the top to Jack Martin, who doesn't miss with inside 30. Really important goal there by Carlton when the Giants have certainly been playing the better football here in the start of the second quarter.
It's his first touch, Jack Martin. Been quiet so far, hasn't he?
In this quarter, yeah. Mark Murphy and Brett Delidio with you on ABC Sport. Harry Mackay doing the rucking, wins down the tap to Walsh, who's rising with no paddy cribs. Hand pass to Chera, kicks out towards Durden. Awkward bouncing ball. He gathers. Hand pass turned it over though. Couldn't get it to Cottrell. Lloyd for the Giants. Gets the hand pass away to Ward. He retreats back to Wyden, who leans back, kicks long towards Hogan, who can't get a fist in there. Sard hugs the mark to his chest. and can turn and come inboard to Fisher. Ben Cameron on the boundary.
Oh, I think he's going to be absolutely fine, but I've just got a bit of a watch on Tom de Koning. Got a lot of work done high on his adductor during the quarter-time break, and just got a lot of work done on his lower back after coming off for a good 5 minutes or so.
Thanks, Ben. Going it alone without Pitternet as Kemp kicks to the wing. Kerno the target, whacked away from him by Buckley, and it's out of play. I mentioned Jack Buckley, an amazing year. I mean, he's played Lids now 23 games, so he's one of 4 to have played every match for the Giants. And this is a guy that didn't play a single minute last season.
Yep. Super resilient kid, but also just locks down his opponent, gets really filthy on himself if he's not doing a great job.
Had an ACL tear late 2021, so missed all of last season from the restart. Whack forward for the Blues. Mackay's onto it. Takes on Hogan. Got a hand pass, Himmelberg rather, got a hand pass away inboard. Gee, Whitfield had it and got whacked after disposing of the footy. He's going to get a free kick. Just clipped late on the way through. Free kick for Whitfield. What do we think?
No, nothing in that.
No. Just pushed as he went past.
He sold it well. Giants by 2 goals, 17 gone in the second.
Whitfield short to Kelly. On the dock side, he takes the mark alongside the AFL logo. Swings onto his left-hand side. Kicks it high inside 50. Hogan's the target. Toby Green tries to fly. Spills to the back of the pack. It's knocked on by McMillan. Kept in play for the moment. The centering kick from Daniels. And the intercepting mark is taken by Chin Cotter. Hard up against the left behind post. Deep in defence for the Blues. He points in which the direction he intends to send it. Long towards Harry Mackay at half-back. Iden set himself to run at it. Didn't fly. Mackay wants the mark. Umpire set off a few hands. And Whitfield locks it up. On the SMS 0437 774 774. And he says, I hope the Giants win and get into finals, especially with the passionate, loyal Toby Green as their captain.
Briggs from the restart wins the hit out. Fortunate bounce for Lloyd. Hand pass away to McMullen. He slots it down. And there's a heavy tackle laid immediately on Whitfield. We'll have the ball up.
Stan from Victoria says, hi team, great call, loving the intensity, go GWS, and Hogan for another 9 or 10.
Centre forward for the Giants from the restart. Here's Binger Daniels, gets a hand pass back to Whitfield. Chips out wide, looking for McMullen. Got the hand pass back inside the field of play, but straight to Fisher. Hand pass to Sard, away to Hewitt, kicks the Blues now down the wing. Ash floats in from the side, he went to market, spills that, left the footy behind. And Mackay's getting a free for a hold, and the Bronx cheer for the umpires. I feel like they're a little hard done by Murph, the Carlton fans.
Well, they can get dirty. Don't worry about that.
Hand pass to Fisher, short kick to Fogarty, who's just on the ground. Giants by 12 points, 19 gone second term.
They do ride the highs and lows of the roller coaster, maybe a little more than others. Fogarty inside 50, Martin was dragged down. It's spoiled away. A chance for Lloyd. He's tackled by Cherrett, spills out the way of Sam Walsh. He hasn't missed a beat. Hand pass to Hewitt, chips it inside 50. Great vision. Oh, he's sliding on his knees. He takes the mark. Directly in front, 45 metres out from goal.
No, it was great vision. He probably had a pair deeper forward. It was David Cunningham, probably one out, but the Giants were flooding back hard, and there was just a little pocket of space in front of him, about 20 metres directly in front, and Matty Owies was in a nice little spot to be on the service of some great football there from George Hewitt.
Kicked a goal in the first quarter, Matt Owies.
Celebration watch.
Yep, kicked multiples in 4 of his last 7 matches. To pull it back to a single-digit ball game. Matt Owies comes in and stand by. The arms are outstretched as he pumps his chest out. Owies with his second, and the Blues are back within 6 points. The Giants 7-3-45 to Carlton 6-3-39. 20 minutes gone, second term on ABC Sport. Matt Clinch and Corbin Minimas call the action. Ben Cameron down on the boundary. Brett Delidio and Mark Murphy are your experts.
Yeah, it was a great kick from Georgie Hewitt, wasn't it? Probably not renowned for his touch kicks around the ground. Great ball winner, ability to step in and out of traffic and use his hands. It was just a nice little touch kick that you spoke about. One of the great celebrators, this bloke, turning around barking at his defenders.
Where are you?
The hammer. What are you doing? Get to me, boys. Get to me.
The hammer, they call him.
Do they?
Yeah,
why is that?
There's Binger Daniel, and they've got Hammer Owies at one end.
Why do they call him Hammer?
I don't know why they call him Hammer.
You have to ask a few boys.
I will.
Catch up with
we'll have to ask him
after
We'll have to ask him after the game.
Bring that for the first final, please.
Carlton with the last 2. And this is exactly the way that we want it. Set up beautifully. Time on in the second term. Just a 1-score game. GWS by 6. Briggs grabs it out of the ruck, jams it on the boot forward, and McGovern's back, takes the intercept mark. Got a very brief bit of contact from Keith. Hit the deck. Crowd wanted 50, not forthcoming. Goes wide to Kemp. Halfback for Carlton, all in the navy blue with the white monogram. He wants to take on Riccardi on the mark. And Kemp now kicks long. Curnow on the pack on the wing. Buckley gets to the front, takes the juggled mark. As it for GWS, they're all in orange, by the way, with that big charcoal G. And the charcoal lettering, they've got the white shorts on and the orange socks. He kicks down the wing, Buckley, and intercepted. Down low, Newman, who's had a sensational, really, 5 or 6 weeks for Carlton in particular. He's coming up for his 5th touch of the quarter here, Clinchy. Giants by 6.
At 30 plus the last 3 weeks. He sends it towards Charlie Curnow. Can't take the mark. At the back of the pack, Iden shovels a hand pass forward. After it is Hollands. Pulls it in with his left mid. Swings it around his body towards Owies. It's over him and charging out. Cottrell down low. Is able to hang on to the mark. Out to the left, just inside 50. For a moment, he thought about centering it. And now we'll go back for the shot on goal. Already has one next to his name.
Well, it was just a hack kick, really, but just carried. Just kept on just going over the heads of, I think it was Lockie Whitfield who thought that he was going to read it, but the ball just kept on carrying. It was almost a floater. And Matty Cottrell just in a really good spot. He's usually playing up on a wing, but playing half forward at the moment.
The 4th-year blue has become an integral part of this team with his hard work. Looking to try and finish in front of goal here from just inside 50. He swings it from right to left and misses to the left-hand side. The Giants by 5 points. 22 minutes gone, second quarter. Ben Cameron on the boundary.
Well, a little bit of a concern here for the Blues. Nick Newman has come off. A little grimace as he went through the interchange gates and a little point to his right hamstring. I'll keep an eye on him.
Well, that's not good news. Thanks, Ben. Himmelberg goes on a stroll from the back pocket, kicks down the wing, and Riccardi, the target, Saab knocks it away from him. So had Wiedering with the finger, went off, came back. Saab with the ankle, went off, come back, and now Nick Newman pointing to his hammy, but strolling up and down on the bench at the moment as he has a look around.
Benny's just trying to cause some concern for the Carlton faithful down there, isn't he?
It's great drama. 23 minutes in the second term. Giants by 5 for the boundary throw-in. Here's Bedford, the former Demon, kicks down to half forward. And Riccardi shakes Kemp. No, pushed him in the back. Free kick for Brody Kemp, half-back for the Blues. It is GWS by 5 points, and now it looks like it's going to be 50. I think Riccardi was told to stand, and he was moving backwards, and the ump said you can't do that, and Brody Kemp's now headed downfield.
And not a known goal scorer with just 1 goal next to his name for his career. So he gives it to Zach Fisher, who's dodging and weaving. In the end, he had to awkwardly kick it towards the teeth of goal. Underneath it, Cunningham almost juggled the mark. He's now first back onto it. Hand pass turned it over, though. Iden with a hand pass to Tom Green. Underground from Whitfield, looking for Bedford. The Giants defending desperately. Cal Ward only knows one way. Charges past Newman. It spills back to him. Nick Newman around the body towards the teeth of goal. To Coning's got back. Cunningham's front and centre. Hand pass to Hollands on the left. What a finish! High-fiving the Carlton fans as he finishes in the left forward pocket. Ollie Hollands, this first year blue. And Carlton are back in front of Docklands. 7-4-46 to GWS 7-3-45. The Blues with the last 3 goals of the match to wrestle back the lead.
Well, he's had a huge year, Ollie Hollands, for a first-year player. He's really impressed everyone by just the fact of his work rate and his defensive efforts, but that's just a fair bit of class there from the boundary off one step under enormous pressure, hard up against the boundary line, and just found a little gap in between the Giants player and the goals.
If you want to, you're a young bloke playing in the under-18s here.
That would be a bit of you, Brett Delaney, just high-fiving the crowd as he puts it through.
I would have got me backside kick from
Dimmer wouldn't like that?
No, doesn't like that. Oh, score review. Don't let that be a point. It is.
Oh, there's a snicko.
Did it hit the very bottom of the left goal post? It seems there's a spike.
Yeah.
So everyone is set up in the middle of the ground, and it's going to go back.
Yeah. But as I was saying, if you want to work out how to play the wing role, come here and watch Blake Acres and Ollie Hollands play. Both of them play it to an absolute tee, work up and down the ground, get shots on goal, but then they get right back and they help out the defence as well.
So as we wait for the score review on the big screen, players are now moving from the traditional setup after a goal is scored to potentially behind as...
Imagine if this overall's happening in the last minute of play.
Yes.
Not only does this change the lead in the game, it obviously changes who would be playing finals. So the live ladder would change. If this is a behind, the Snicko shows the spike.
Crow supporters filthy.
I was about to say, and a cheerio to all our Adelaide listeners who are still suffering the effects of last week with their season done.
It just shows you it should happen. After every score, no matter what it is, you always go to the third umpire.
So cancel that. Blues aren't in front. Giants by 4 points.
Long kick from Himmelberg from the kick out to halfback wanted Briggs. Off hand spills to Fisher. Hand pass to Akers. His hand pass knocked down by Daniels. Comes to Tom Green. Tumbles a kick down the wing. Oh, McGovern with Toby Green sweating on him. Tackle drilled into the ground.
No.
Dangerous tackle called on Toby Green.
Come on, Matty. He tried to spin out of the tackle. That's rubbish.
And now Toby Green has been remonstrated with. He's been dragged away by the jump up by Akers. And McGovern's going to get up and be able to take his kick. Matt Stevic trying to clear everyone out of the way, and Green penalised for the tackle. Don't like that one, lads?
No, I don't, because he tried to spin out of the tackle, and therefore Toby's not going to let him go, is he? Now he's been sent off with a blood rule.
He's got a little cut above his right eye.
Yeah, how does that happen?
He's just got to wrestle with Jacob Wiedering for a minute. But I agree. It was Mitch McGovern trying to avoid the tackle and trying to spin out of it, which forced the dumping motion, but it certainly wasn't a dump.
The crowd are involved in this game. Carlton can't move from fifth. They trail by 4 points. Giants lead it as we tick down on this first half. 28 minutes travelled, second term. McGovern, long kick down the wing. DeConing flies, no mark. Falls to Tom Green. Hand pass away to Briggs. Kick smothered. Back to Tom Green. Hand pass to Ash. Gives it to Ward. Goes on a run. Steps around. Hewitt. Saad lays the tackle. Just got it away to Kelly, to Himmelberg by hand. Hand pass to Cornelio. Sandwiched in the two-man tackle. Ball up. Ben Cameron on the boundary. Ben.
Yeah, he let Blake Akers know what he thought about it too, Toby Green, as he walked past him on his way to the bench. Just getting patched up at the moment. 3 doctors tending to him.
DeConing got rid of Briggs from the ball up. Hand pass to Fisher up towards Harry Mackay. Coming the other direction was Lockie Ash. They collide and the ball spills out of play. And plenty of encouragement from both sides with the desperation of the bodies on the line. Harry goes back to full forward. And Lockie Ash gets plenty of applause from his teammates.
Huge contest. Well done, both players.
Finals footy on the line here. Thrown back into play to Koning and Biggs. To Koning worked underneath it. It spills down the way of Kelly. Hand pass away to Tom Green. Tackled. Had to get the ball clear. Hand pass it straight to Fogarty. Kicks high inside 50. Martin, it bounced off his shoulder. Straight to Harry Mackay. Hand pass looking for Dowie. Slips over. Cal Ward lays the tackle. He rolls in despite being on the turf. And locks the ball up in the left forward pocket for the Blues. Giants by 4 points. 29 minutes gone. Second quarter.
Umpire Stevic chucks it up. Grabbing it out of the ruck is Briggs. Touched on the way through. Out to half-back. Trying to steal it from Saad is Brown. Unsuccessfully runs out of room.
It's a perfect game going into 2 weeks' time, isn't it? For both teams, whether or not they're both in it or not. But just red hot. The pressure around the football. Just forced handballs, one after another tackles. It's exactly what final football is all about.
The Giants up by 4 points. So they're in the 8 on the live ladder. In 7th spot provisionally on the boundary throwing. Comes down towards Akers. Hand pass to Dow, comes back to him. Second hand pass knocked down too. Now Walsh gives it in the corridor for Hewitt. Hand pass to Fogarty. Short kick to Coney marks. Left half forward for the Blues. 48 metres out.
Well, good perseverance there from the Blues. There's 3 or 4 handballs that were knocked down. They just kept having numbers in and around the contest. That handball forward to Fogarty. Good composure from him as well. Could have just turned around and blazed with the amount of pressure that was coming, but was able to turn back the other way and saw DeConing sitting all by himself inside forward 50.
In he comes. TDK, Tom DeConing absolutely flushes it. Swings the lead around on that goal. Carlton by 2 points. Second lead change of the night. Half hour mark, second term. Carlton a 7-4, 47. GWS 7-3-45. Mark Murphy, Brett Delidio on ABC Radio.
Yeah, it's a nice bit of poise there from Lockie Fogarty. Just to turn on that other side and just get the Giants man offside. But I like Tom DeConing. If he just went down to Mitch McGovern and said, next time I'm within 50, don't come past and run for a handball receive, because Mitch McGovern came flying behind Tom DeConing and wanted the handball receive. But great finish from the big ruckman. He's had a good couple of weeks, hasn't he? A good month of footy, Tom DeConing.
Good decision not to give it.
Oh, yeah. When you've got the range like that.
Within 45.
Yep.
The Blues with 7 of the last 10 inside 50s. De Koning reaches over the top, wins down the tap. But Ward's first onward for the Giants. Hand pass to Kelly, to Canelio, around his body up towards Bedford. Can't take the mark. Saad knocks it down, but straight to Ward. Still working hard. Inside 50, keep the target. Wiedering gets a hand to it. Spoils it down for the Blues. Fisher hacks the kick out of defence. It turns over. Cumming. Did he take a step? No. Cottrell was having a look at the umpire saying, I thought he took a step off his line. And now we'll go back for the shot on goal.
He's had a quiet quarter, Isaac Cumming. Hasn't touched it yet this quarter, in fact. But good work there to be on his mantle there, right up there, his forwards backside. Yeah, covering that outlet. A couple of the Giants senior players are a little bit rushed coming away from that stoppage. I reckon Kel Ward could have hit the lower kick going inside 50 initially.
Just the 4 goals so far for his career, but he's kicked 3 so far this year. From right on 50, Cumming comes in. That's a nice kick. And through it goes. The Giants back in front ahead of half-time. Giants by 4 points, 8-3-51 to the Blues, 7-5-47. A 5-goal second term to the Blues 3, with the Giants having their noses in front, just in front of the main break.
We talked about Cal Ward probably not having the composure to see that short one, but the pressure out there is red hot at the moment.
A lot of noise.
And a bit of referred pressure, and even on that D50 exit, Zach Fisher, who usually is one of the most composed players outside D50, he's only been back there probably 3 or 4 weeks in a new role, but just slammed the boot on his right foot rather than just taking an extra few steps and just seeing his option, just having that bit of time and balance. The pressure out there is enormous at the moment. It's finals like.
One spot to be decided. GWS win, they play finals. Carlton win, the Bulldogs feature in September. Giants by 4 points as we close in on half-time. De Koning wins it down to Walsh. Under pressure, hand pass to Hewitt. Squeezes a kick out. Hollands off the square. Grabs it, tackled immediately. Dispossessed. Walsh likewise in the tackle. Coughs it up. Ward through the middle of the ground. Hand pass to Daniels. Short kick centre half forward. Canelio tucks it under his arm to finish on the run. Canelio, he's offline. Misses out to the left. Giants by 5. 53.5 gone in the second term.
Seen some great vision from players here at the moment. Their ability to pick out a player in congestion. Brent Daniels there, his little kick. Everyone thought he was going out to the right, pulls it back to the left. Stephen Canelio runs into an open shot on goal.
Brett Delidio with you on ABC Sport. Finals like intensity. The players have risen to it. Akers is the long kick in the end, out of defence by McGovern. Akers gathers it left half back, works it in the middle of the ground with a hand pass to Dow, who kicks looking for Durden. Can't gather, he's over the top of the footy. Sliding over the top was Whitfield. They turn to the umpire who will ball it up. Dying seconds of this opening half. 34 minutes gone in the second quarter. The Giants leading by 5 points. As the umpire lofts it into the air to Koning and Briggs. It spills down the way of Newman. He swings onto his left, dribbles it forward. Kelly gathers. And the siren sounds. An entertaining first half with so much to play for. The Giants win and they're in. If they lose, the Western Bulldogs will take the last spot in the 8. Carlton 7-5-47, trailing the Giants 8-4-52. GWS with 5 goals 2 in that second quarter to the Blues 3 goals 2 after Carlton led by 7 points at quarter time. For the Giants, 3 goals to Toby Green leading from the front. And individuals to Canelio, Ward, Cumming, Hogan and Keefe. While for the Blues, 2 goals to Charlie Curnow. He's already claimed the Coleman medal for season 2023. Back-to-back Coleman medals for him. Individuals to De Koning, Martin. 2 to Owies. Individuals to De Koning, Martin and Cottrell. Earlier today, it was Port Adelaide who defeated Richmond by 31 points to claim 3rd spot on the ladder. They'll travel to the Gabba in the first week of the finals to take on Brisbane. Melbourne too strong for the Sydney Swans without Tom Papley, who was a laid-out 21-point winners, 11-11-77 to the Swans, 7-14-56, with Bailey Fritsch finishing with 5. The thoughts of Brett Delidio and Mark Murphy with you on ABC Sport.
Well, I think it's been a pretty even contest so far, Lids, and I think it ebbed and flowed in that first quarter, and it was pretty much the same in that second. It was Carlton probably not making the most of their opportunities. I thought the Giants did really well through that middle part of the game where they just had that awareness and that balance outside. And I think that what makes Carlton great is they swarm the contest. But if you're really strong with ball in hand for the Giants today, they're finding some width and some players who get off the line. We've seen Caniglio on a couple of occasions get it ahead of the football, and he's playing midfield. So I think if you're strong with ball in hand, you can find a way through the Carlton defence. But having said that, when they're red hot, Carlton, it is a swarm mentality, and when they are pressing and tackling, they're a hard team to stop. But been a really, really important quarter for the Giants and some of their stars who not were getting off the chain but playing some pretty impressive football.
Yeah, I think what the Giants have been able to do is put that pressure right on. I think that's what you're speaking to. With their pressure, it's forcing Carlton into that handball hustle type game where, it's inviting the pressure, but it's also causing a few turnovers. I saw the Giants have kicked 6 goals, 3 already from turnover today in today's game, which is a big reason why they're, in front at the moment. Yeah. But that's what they've prided themselves on all year, the Giants boys, is their ability just to never say, we might not be the most talented, but we've got guys that'll give 100% effort. Yeah, they've got some great players out there right across every line. But they don't, no matter how big your name is or your contract is, you come out here and you give us 100% effort. And that's where I love what, you can see Adam Kingsley filthy with Charlie Curnow kicking that second goal. Jack Buckley tighten the clamps there in that quarter. 1 touch for Charlie Curnow in the second quarter.
Had some big 1v1 wins too against Charlie.
Yeah, caught it a couple of times, turned it back around, and then Connor Wright and his job on Jack Martin so far. I think he's only had 1 or 2 touches. I reckon Jack Martin maybe for a goal. And that was just a little handball received. But they're doing a great job down there in the back line, and their midfield's applying a lot of pressure, but they just got to keep capitalising every time they go forward. Toby's got on the end of a couple. Can they keep Jesse involved? Jake McCarty's looked a little bit out of it at the moment, so they've still room for improvement, but they're going well at the moment.
Just the 2 touches for Charlie Curnow in that second quarter after 2 goals in the first. Ben Cameron on the boundary.
Guys, I've just got a little bit of a strange one. I'm sitting directly behind the GWS bench today, and something I've picked up, Adam Kingsley actually has a note taker on the bench who almost records a stream of consciousness. So as he sees something during the quarter, he'll turn around and say, look, forward 50 stoppages or something of the like. They'll jot that down, write it in a book. They give it to Adam Kingsley. He takes it out onto the ground at quarter time and reviews his notes and then addresses the team. What I do find particularly interesting about it, and this is a little bit strange but interesting enough, I think, is that it's Alison Zell who is the media manager of the GWS football club. So they often sit on the benches in case there's injuries and they need to relay information to the media. But they've got everyone in the footy department has a gig, and I think it's quite clever by GWS. They're just using the media manager down there as a note taker, able to take the notes, and even before half-time handed the notebook back to Adam Kingsley. He jotted down some other notes on it and then strides off to the rooms ready to give the address. So just a little background as to how it's all functioning down here.
Do you feel the media manager might be tuning into our special comments and maybe giving some info on what we're seeing out there on game day?
I saw her write down Hammerowies and Binger Daniels at one point. No, but it is just interesting. He's got a personal note taker, no notes himself, just turns around and delivers what he's thinking to the note taker.
She wouldn't have had to ask twice after Jake McCarty gave away that 50. I know that. I could lip read it from here.
No, I could hear it down here on the bench and didn't want to make eye contact with Adam Kingsley. I was looking away.
Of course, he did go through a rigorous process to get the GWS coaching job, and the man in which he narrowly beat was Adam Uze, and there was some of the feedback by those who appointed him that said that his psych profile suggested he could have run a major business. Such was his how impressive he was in his presentation. So the Giants coach could pick up Benny, very much on his toes with all his support staff coaching from the boundary. The Giants leading by 5 points. The equation is simple. They win and they're in. If they lose, the Western Bulldogs will stay in 8th position. We'll pause for the moment from Docklands in Melbourne. Let's get the latest from the ABC newsroom.
Hello, this is ABC News with David Rowlands. 3 United States Marines have been confirmed dead in a helicopter crash on Melville Island north of Darwin today. Lillian Rangier has the latest.
The Osprey military helicopter was flying to remote Melville Island to participate in military drills as part of the International Exercise Predators Run when it crashed 2 kilometres inland around 9:30 this morning. 23 US military personnel were on board and recovery efforts are still underway. In a statement, the Marine Rotational Force Darwin has confirmed 3 personnel have died, while 5 more are at the Royal Darwin Hospital in a serious condition. A code brown has been declared at the hospital, its highest level emergency response. Exercise Predators Run has been paused as the evacuation effort continues.
Queensland's acting Premier has dismissed claims of discord in the government as nothing more than chatter, rumours and gossip. Stephen Miles is acting in the top job while Anastasia Palaszczuk is on holidays overseas. He shrugged off recent reports suggesting there's dissatisfaction in Labor's ranks about the Premier's leadership.
It doesn't align with what people are saying to me, but I understand there'll always be chatter, there'll always be rumours and gossip. What I know is a great strength of our government has been our stability and our unity and the leadership that Anastasia has provided.
Victorian Premier Daniel Andrews has distanced himself from branch stacking allegations levelled at the Labor Party, saying it's a matter for the party's administration. An internal investigation into how the memberships of 2 dead men were renewed in the party's Layla South branch in 2018 and 2019 has been unable to find anyone responsible. The family of one of the men says they're considering taking legal action. Mr Andrews says it's not a matter for the Victorian government.
I'm not here as a spokesman on behalf of the administrative wing of the party. I'm not involved in those processes in any way, and it seems to me that those questions would be best directed to somebody who is.
AFL great Michael Long is walking from Melbourne to Canberra to advocate for a yes vote in the forthcoming Indigenous Voice to Parliament referendum. He left Melbourne at midday today, urging people to join him on his 650-kilometre trek. The Essendon champion also invited prominent Australians who disagree with the Voice proposal to join him.
I'd love to see Centre Price come along. I'd love to see Dutton come along because we're all Australians at the end of the day, and I hope that this campaign gets up. But if it doesn't, we did say to Mr Dutton, there's still a lot of work to do regardless. It's got to stop. The hatred's got to stop.
New South Wales Premier Chris Minns has accused the former Liberal government of wasting more than $100 million of taxpayer funds. Treasury figures reveal $109 million being spent since 2015 on drafting plans and designs to renew Circular Quay in Sydney CBD. However, the money hasn't resulted in work on the ferry wharves or train station. Mr Minns says government needs to get value from taxpayer money.
People that are looking at overcrowded classrooms or long waits in emergency departments would be furious that the previous government spent $100 million on Circular Quay and there was no improvements.
SpaceX has successfully launched 22 more of its Starlink satellites into orbit. A Falcon 9 rocket carrying them was launched from Cape Canaveral in the US. Starlink is a space-based system providing internet access to underserved areas on Earth. It's the second space launch from Cape Canaveral within a span of 24 hours after a crew bound for the International Space Station blasted off yesterday. They've now arrived on the ISS. Gang violence continues to worsen in Haiti. Thousands are fleeing the capital, and in all, 200,000 people have now been displaced across the troubled Caribbean nation. Police are struggling to contain gangs who control more than 80% of the capital, with kidnappings, sexual violence and murder being daily threats. This woman has fled her home and says she won't be going back.
Even if order is restored in the area, I wouldn't return because we've had to flee too often. We're tired of always being victims. It's better to go and live in the provinces, even if we have no land there. It's better for us to leave.
To sport, and Sydney has missed out on earning a home game in the first week of the AFL finals after suffering a 21-point defeat at the hands of Melbourne at the SCG. The Swans would have finished 6th on the ladder with a victory, but couldn't overtake St Kilda, who will now host them in a sudden death encounter in a fortnight's time. In his return from a foot injury, Barty Fritsch kicked 5 goals in the Demons' 11-11-77 to 7-14-56 win.
With the ABC Listen app, you can take the footy with you wherever you go. Off to walk the dog?
Take the footy!
Going camping?
Take the footy!
Picnic in the park?
Take the footy!
ABC Sport's expert coverage of the AFL
Incredible grab!
and the NRL Every goal, try, mark and tackle, live and commercial free. So whatever you're up to,
Take the footy!
take the footy with you on the ABC Listen app.
Grandstand AFL.
Now streaming every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
That's a great kick too. Puts it onto the chest of Toby Green. Leads up the centre half forward, takes the mark. That's the best big game player in the game at present. Toby Green with his boots hitting the 50-metre arc. That is pure. Puts the Giants back on top. Looks back, corridor, got Canelio, marks, plays on the run, trademark Steve Canelio. In game 200, threats it. Hits the deck, Cottrell collects, tackled immediately, somehow got beat the ball. Hollands hands it to Martin. Martin threats it. Across the body, stops the run for the Blues.
Hand pass to Hewitt, chips it inside 50, great vision. Oh, he's sliding on his knees, he takes the mark. Directly in front, 45 metres out from goal. To pull it back to a single-digit ball game. Matt Owies comes in and stand by. The arms are outstretched as he pumps his chest out. Owies in his second.
Hand pass to Fogarty, short kick to Koning marks. Left half forward for the Blues, 48 metres out. TDK, Tom de Koning, absolutely flushes it.
Fisher hacks a kick out of the fence. It turns over. Cumming, did he take a step? No. From right on 50, Cumming comes in. That's a nice kick. And through it goes. The Giants back in front.
The 2023 AFL season.
On radio,
ABC Sport Digital.
and now streaming on the ABC Listen app.
Half-time at Docklands in Melbourne. The Giants lead by 5 points, playing for their finals hopes on the line. 8-4-52 to the Blues, 7-5-47. The final match of the home and away season for season 2023. Matt Clinch and Corbin Minimas call the action. Ben Cameron's down on the boundary. Mark Murphy and Brett Delidio are your experts. Earlier today, it was Port Adelaide who locked in third position on the AFL ladder. A 31-point victory over the Tigers, 13-16-94 to the Tigers, 8-15-63. So it means that Port Adelaide will travel to the Gabba in the first week of the finals to take on the Brisbane Lions. And Melbourne, 21-point winners, as you heard. Bailey Fritsch with 5 goals, 11-11-77 to Sydney, 7-14-56. And Charlie Curnow with his 2 goals in the first quarter has claimed back-to-back Coleman medals. And the Giants leading by 5 points at half-time. In the NRL today, the Knights were able to record their 8th win on the trot, 26-point winners over the Cronulla Sharks, 32 points to 6. And in the early match, it was the Manly Seagulls, 42 points to 24, who prevailed in round 26 of the NRL. Basketball taking place at the moment as well. There's so much going on. So the FIBA Basketball World Cup, Australia taking on Germany. It's a tight contest in the third quarter. Germany leading 54-51. And, of course, the ABC website is the best place to stay across all the details, abc.net.au/sport. If you missed Offsiders this morning with Corbin Minimas, you can catch that on iView. And, of course, the best of ABC Sport, wherever you get your podcast from, and the ABC Listen app. That's where you can find Corbin and Ben on a Monday and a Thursday, featuring Brett Delidio and Mark Murphy. And the lead on Saturday with John Noble alongside Cameron Ling and Adam Ramanauskas with their thoughts on Collingwood and their charge into September. On the SMS, 0437 774 774. Good to hear, Lids, you're coming through loud and clear in Vietnam. Greetings from North Vietnam, on the road, 2 hours to Hanoi. Enjoying the ABC Listen app. Go the Baggers. That's from Andrew in Ballarat. So, of course, this is a pay TV match, the final game of the season. So the crisp, clear sound on the ABC Listen app. We're glad to hear we're coming through loud and clear. And Paul says, I'm a doggy supporter and was on the edge of my seat last night at Cardinia Park watching. Now, 24 hours later, I'm on the edge of my couch cheering for the Baggers.
So just on that, I don't know if you guys have ever been in this scenario. If you say you're a Western Bulldogs player and this scenario unfolded, are you going and doing something completely different for 2 hours? Are you watching every second? How are you taking the game in, do you think?
Oh, probably different for a few different blokes. I can't imagine Libby be one of those blokes to be on the edge of his couch watching the result and he just tune in or get told tomorrow at training. But
he might be at his pub.
He could be, yeah. No, I was one of those guys that was, I'd be tuning in. I'd have to know exactly what was going on and riding every ball.
Yeah, I don't think I was ever in that situation, but you can imagine that the Bulldogs would all be getting together and watching it as a team. And obviously going for Carlton, if it doesn't turn out their way, then you're probably straight into a beer. I don't know. I've never been in that situation before.
Yeah. Have you ever watched games together, as a whole group? No, it's not a...
Oh, no, so we did. When we went to Perth on a mid-season footy trip one year, and we ended up watching the Queen's birthday game at a pub. And that was only because we were...
It's a little different than what I was thinking.
Yeah. Well, you asked the question.
I did.
Had an answer for you.
Maybe on an interstate game. There was probably one game.
But it wasn't mandatory.
It wasn't mandatory, but I reckon Love Island used to get a fair bit of a run when that was a bit of a hit a few years ago. All the boys watching that on interstate trips.
Greg in Geelong on the SMS, 0437 774 774. Great call as usual, guys. You got my attention when I heard you say Binger. That's going to make my ears prick every time I hear that as a nickname. So cheerio to you, Greg. The other question coming through constantly is what happens if it's a draw at the end of the Dogs and the Giants are exactly on the same percentage? Well, that's right for your wheelhouse, Corby.
If it's a draw tonight
between the Blues and GWS,
that means
you're out of your crease.
That means the Bulldogs play finals.
Okay.
GWS need all
points.
4 points.
They do to get over them.
That was a question without notice. Sorry about that. I
got that though.
Yeah, Simon and Sean on the York Peninsula enjoying the commentary. Great year for the ABC AFL Grandstand team. Entertaining, informative, knowledgeable team. Much better than the TV. Don't have to hear the umpiring gaffes on the TV call. Glad to hear you're enjoying it.
Two things on that. One, it would be a nice bit of symmetry because we started the regular season with a draw. Of course, yes. Carlton and Richmond way back on the very first night in March, which feels like about 4 years ago. And the other question there about nickname Binger. There's somebody else in this commentary box has a nickname Binger as well.
Hello.
Yeah, I do, but I don't know why I do have the nickname Binger. Other than we love Brett Lee for whatever reason, Paddy Cripps, myself and Zach Fisher, and we all call each other Binger. So that's what pricked my ears too when young Daniel's got the same one. Well, not young, he's just small, isn't he? But he looks small.
You can't call him small.
I can, he's definitely smaller than me.
He's a couple of centimetres, yeah. It's the same as Josh Kelly, his nickname's Chook, but that's because all of his mates, they all call each other Chooks, and he's just stuck.
Another Chook.
Yeah. Chook Kelly.
Tate from Burnie is 8 years of age, listening in from Tasmania. Go the Blues. Surely it's got to be our turn this time for finals. Well, you're a part of it.
You're in.
So enjoy the ride with the Carlton faithful who have waited a long time to get back to September. GWS lead by 5 points at the main break. I'm sure Michael Voss would have a couple of areas he'd be pretty keen to address with these charges at half-time. What do you imagine the message might have been?
I think they've just over-handballed around stoppage quite a bit. I think they're on 107 kicks. I was looking at it just before. 107 kicks and 98 handballs.
Yep.
So you could look at that and go, well, the Giants' pressure's enormous and it's forcing handballs or too many handballs. But I think that at times they should have kicked when they've probably handballed too many, and that's invited the next handball and the next handball. So the message I think would be from the Carlton midfield coach would be, righto boys, when we're shoulders out, we need to kick the football rather than putting another teammate under pressure via handball. And I think there's been quite a number of handballs which have been through hands and been intercepted. Yep. So if they're going to do that in the first week of finals, I think they might get found out doing that. So I think they need to be a bit smarter and take on the tackler sometimes.
Drive your legs.
Drive the legs and drive to a teammate or release by foot.
Can I just ask you, Lids, the Toby Green incident where he came off bleeding?
Yep.
We've seen a few replays of it. Looked as if Jacob Wiedering had his hand on the face of Toby Green. Yeah. Is he in trouble?
Well, we have seen players, have that happen before where you make any sort of contact to the eye, but I had a look at it when it first came up and I was like, he's looking to grab the jumper, I think, but it's accidentally scraped across the face. I don't think he was intentionally trying to grab his eye.
Did he cause the cut?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so, but could have.
If the roles are reversed, I think it would.
Oh, if it was Toby, 100% he's out for 3.
Giants by 5 points into the second half we go with Corbin Middlemass.
GWS by 5, as Clinchy mentioned, as DeConey wins the hit out to start the second half. Kelly tackled, dispossessed, comes down to Walsh, missed his boot with the footy. Comes down to Tom Green, hand pass back into dispute. Walsh goes and gets it again. Carlton back with the footy. Hand pass away to Newman. Threads a hand pass forward to Akers. Through the middle of Dockland Stadium. Kicks inside the forward 50. Buckley gets a hand on it to spoil it away down to Iden. Hand pass back to Himmelberg. Rides a bump from Curnow as he floats a kick down the boundary line City side, and Bedford spills it out of bounds under pressure from Fisher, and we'll have a throw in here between wing and half forward for the Blues. Carlton are going to the Coventry end in this third quarter as they did the opening term. With 40 seconds into the third, Giants by 5.
Toby Green's out there with the head bandage. Joel Selwood sort of style, although it's more across the hairline as it's knocked down by Briggs. Got it to the advantage of Tom Green. Looks up into the middle of the ground and Hogan's on a long lead. He marks alongside the centre circles. Can chip it to Whitfield, who kept running. He marks at the edge of the centre square. Keeps starting in the pocket. He's looking for Toby Green, who's at the top of the goal square. Whitfield taking a long time. Decides in the end to give the hand pass to Himmelberg. Drives it into the pocket. Wiedering gets an arm there. He spoils it away from Keefe. And in the end, it's walked through by Mitch McGovern for a minor score. Giants leading by 6 points. 90 seconds gone, third term.
Wasn't a heap of pressure there on Mitch McGovern. Toby throwing the arms out, asking why was that not a free kick.
McGovern steps outside the goal square, bangs it to half-back. Briggs in from the side, puts his fist through it, still stays alive. Lloyd knocks it back to Martin, and then Lloyd tackles him. The ball up, 70 out from the Giants' goal. GWS led this game by 17 points in the second term. Carlton led it by as many as 12 in the opening quarter. We've had 3 lead changes. Giants by a goal early in the third. Walsh through traffic, hand pass to Chera, kicks to half forward. Mackay gets separation from Himmelberg and Marks. Launch pad, 70 out, kicks for Curnow. The kick doesn't favour him. And Buckley able to stand in front, take an easy chest mark to intercept for the Giants' last line of defence.
With no Sam Taylor, Jack Buckley's had a lot of the work tonight. As he kicks to Wyden in the right back pocket, he looks up to the City wing. Keefe caught behind. Wiedering knocks it down. Trying to get away, Kemp, but he turned it straight over to Keefe of the Giants. He turns it straight over. Sard picks it up for the Blues. He's going to retreat back, chipping it to Chera, who just pulls in the mark. Despite the determined work of Daniels. Chera has it at left half back for the Blues City side. GWS by 6 points. 2.5 minutes gone, third term. Chera swings onto his right-hand side, drives it long towards Jack Martin and Charlie Curnow. Curnow was in front. Blues fans thought his arm was held, not paid. Hyden gets a hand pass forward. Angler just has to work it forward by hand, but straight to Sard once more. Sends it towards half forward. Curnow doesn't fly this time. Martin and Buckley are pushed, says the umpire. And it's going the way of Jack Buckley of the Giants.
One of 4 Giants to have played every game. And the fullback today, as Clinchy said, in the absence of Sam Taylor, they're laid out with that hamstring injury. Goes long to a one-on-one on the wing. Wiedering with the spoil. Hits the deck, comes down to Sard, tries to break the tackle, does so. Gets a kick forward. Up into the front half, but straight to Whitfield. City wing, the 1-2 hand pass with Tom Green. Whitfield lifts it over the top to Angwin. In the yellow boots, heads down to half forward. Daniels a hand on it, no mark. Spills through to Kemp. His hand pass picked off by Toby Green. Now tries to take on the tackler. He's held up. The umpire says, I'll have it. Ball up, 70 out from the GWS goal at the Lockett end. The Giants by a goal, 4 minutes played, third term.
Tossed up in the air. De Koning wins down the tap, but it's straight into the path of Kelly. Kicks inside 50, bounces in front of Keefe. Wiedering slaps it away into the path of Newman, who breaks the tackle from Bedford. He drives it up the City wing over the head of Charlie Curnow. Buckley in a tangle. The umpires have let them go. Cunningham tackled hard against the boundary by Whitfield. Everyone thought it was going out of play, but it stayed in, and now Cunningham lays the tackle. And the umpire says throw it in.
Doing really well, isn't he? Jack Buckley is just making body contact with Charlie when he's probably not expecting it. And then in open space, he's owning a lot of the space, not just being towed around by Charlie. So being very proactive in his defence.
Normally so athletic, Charlie Curnow. There's not too many that could go with him, but he's doing a good job. Buckley diving on the loose footy was Daniels. Umpire says over the shoulder. And the Giants will take it centre wing.
Looks corridor, Whitfield's on, Marks plays on immediately, kicks to centre half forward, Hogan the target. No whistle on the play, hits the deck, Akers comes up with it, hand pass to Chera, under pressure, gives it to Cottrell, he's tackled by Bedford, dispossessed. Akers goes back, wins it again for Carlton. Hand pass a turnover, Kelly picks it off, single step, kicks inside the forward arc, Wiedering back, hands to it, he's got some contact front on from Keefe. And Wiedering will take the free back pocket for the Blues. 207th and final game of the regular season. Carlton win, the Bulldogs play finals. Giants win, they get the Dogs spot in the 8. And that's how it looks at the moment. 6 gone, third quarter. GWS by 6 points. Wiedering with the footy in the back pocket for the Blues.
Free kicks 11-9 the Giants' way as the kick up towards Saccone. It clears him. Curnow at the back. That's Charlie. Gets the hand pass out in front of Cunningham. He runs the city wing. Takes a bounce. Looks inside 50. Martin one-on-one. It bounces in front of he and Iden. Iden races to the front. Gathers. Gets the hand pass to Perryman. Links up with Himmelberg. Hand pass to Buckley. He's having a good third term. Chips it out to Angwin, who marks it right half back. Releases Kelly with a hand pass. Works it up to Briggs. The hand pass to Bedford all around the boundary line. Hand pass to Hogan. He hacks it forward and turns it over. They work so hard to get it there, and Wiedering takes the mark for the Blues.
He goes short with the drop punt, still at halfback to Chera, and Chera to Cottrell. Giants by 6 points. The two technical subs, Marchbank and Haynes, so two rangy key defenders, neither of them used so far. The kick heads down the wing. No mark for Himmelberg. Hits the deck. Walsh is there for the Blues. Hand pass to Cunningham. Heads down to half forward. Here's Mackay close to the boundary line, and it's out of play. We'll have a throw in about 35 out from the Carlton goal. Giants by 6 points. 6.5 gone in the third term. We haven't had a goal as yet.
It's an exciting matchup, that Harry Mackay and Harry Himmelberg one, isn't it? Just when the ball's in the air and even on the ground, two athletic key position players going head-to-head.
Covers good ground.
Adding to the theatre of it all, Briggs wins down the tap. Mackay's over the footy, and the umpire will ball it up. So a couple of Saints fans who are listening from Bali by the pool will be home in time to watch the Saints play in the finals.
A few bintangs.
Yeah, yes. As trying to charge his way through. Cunningham received it from Walsh, and now the hand pass to Hewitt. He created his own space on the left, long towards the goal square. It's going to go through. Superb finish as George Hewitt does it all himself. Created some space where there wasn't any, and the Blues draw scores level, 8-5-53 apiece, with the opening goal in the third term, which comes at the 7-minute mark. Mark Murphy and Brett Delidio with you on ABC Sport.
Well, he's one of those players that he certainly doesn't shirk the issue and stays so strong in every tackle. And probably one area of the game in which Carlton weren't going too well in the first half was probably the flicking around of handballs. But then just George Hewitt, just be able to stay strong in the tackle and to fight his way through, not one but two, and then just slam it on the left foot. It was a beautiful finish. Exactly what Carlton were after.
As I mentioned earlier, a draw is good enough for the Giants. So in the live ladder, they will be 8th as it sits at the moment on 50 premiership points. And that's what the scores look like. Level. 8.5 gone in the third term. Back in the middle of the ground. Ward gets a hand pass away to Ash. A running dash off the back flank. Hand pass goes out wide to Cumming. He's tackled, taken to ground. And a stiff tackle at that. And this game's gone up a notch again. Blake Akers, the tackler. 8-5-53 apiece. Hewitt off his left boot. The opening goal in this third quarter. Through the stoppage is Daniels. Hand pass to Ward. Took a while to get rid of it. Back to Daniels. Hand pass to Ash. Kicks deep inside the forward 50. Standing in front. Kemp takes the intercept mark. And immediately kicks to centre half back for Newman. Little jinking run. Feeds a hand pass all the way back to Wiedering at fullback for the Blues.
Looks out towards half-back. Chera's the target, wrestling with Canelio. Steve Canelio in his 200th game. Gathers 1-2 with Angwin. Hand pass to Toby Green. Back to Canelio at right half forward. Gets a favourable bounce. Hand pass to the pocket for Bedford. He wants to centre it. Can he get it to Perryman? It's on the bounce. In the end, dragged down. A good tackle laid by Corey Durden, who was working back. And McMullen couldn't get a hand pass away, and the umpire will ball it up. Scores level at 53 apiece. 35 metres out from the Giants' goal.
It'd be a rough way for the Dogs to exit the finals race. Obviously, they put themselves in this position, but a draw, and that would keep them out by 2 points from the restart. Got another ball up in front of the Giants' goal. 8-5-53 apiece. 10 gone, third term. Umpire chucks it up. Keith hands it away to Canelio. Kicks his second. Right forward pocket, bounces it through. And the G-men lead by that goal. The 5th GWS player to the 200-game milestone. Steve Canelio, the former skipper, gives the Giants back the lead. 10 gone, third term.
Well done, Cogsy. That's a good reward. I was just watching him at stoppage there. He was on the move and got really busy, really challenged Nick Newman. You know, he's trying to do his best to stop him. That's a clever finish there, running towards the boundary. Right foot dribble in.
was really the only one around the stoppage that was moving at any sort of pace, wasn't it? So really good for young players of football to come and watch guys like that around the stoppage on the move and gets a good result and staying strong in the contest. But he's had a great day. Stephen Caniglio's already kicked the 2 goals and had the 5 score involvements, 3 clearances and 6 inside 50s. He's looking really dynamic and aggressive ahead of the football as well.
Ben Cameron on the boundary.
I'm not entirely sure what the issue is, but Blake Acres has come from the ground, had a chat to the physio and doctor, and now they're off down to the rooms.
Thanks, Ben. Back in the middle to Koning and Keefe. To Koning wins down the tap. Paddy Dow with a burst of speed. Kicks inside 50. Curnow, he's almost spoiled by Durden. And in the end, Charlie Curnow somehow gathered it. Giants players are saying maybe Durden had a hand onto it. Get out of the way, Corey.
He certainly had the first hands on that, Corey.
This is his second one that he's just gone and been gifted. Or his second shot on goal, I should say. He missed that last one and kicked him with man on the mark, so justice.
Swings out onto the right from 35 metres out. The dominant forward in the game has his third. Having claimed back-to-back Coleman medals with 2 in the first quarter, he has 3 and we're back to scores level, 59 apiece. Charlie Curnow answers back after the Canelio goal at the other end. 9-5, 59 apiece after 12 minutes in the third term.
Well, we know there's a lot of Carlton supporters out here today, but just flashed up on the screen a couple of doggy supporters in the stand cheering on Charlie Curnow.
They don't realise that a draw doesn't work for him, unfortunately. Go back to him with the live ladder up on the screen.
You'd have to be a different type of supporter, wouldn't you, to come in and support the team that would have to win for you to get into finals. But
I love it.
I admire the passion.
Yeah, I feel for Jack Buckley there, though, because he's done such a good job in the last 2 quarters to have something there, but he wasn't close enough to really impact it anyway. So Charlie got the jump on him again.
It's great work by Paddy Dow out of the centre. Just that point of difference, isn't he, in the centre square bounce for Carlton with that dash and that aggressive use of legs.
Scores level for the second time in the quarter. 1 down to Chera. Hand pass out to Hewitt. Hewitt taken high by Canelio. Will get the free. Ben Cameron on the boundary.
The doctors have come back. They're speaking to the bench. They were looking at the footage. I think it's a concussion concern for Blake Acres. More to come.
Thanks, Ben. Back in the middle of the ground at Newman. Through hands of Fisher and now Kemp. Pokes the pass to centre half forward for the Blues, but there's a heap of orange jumpers. Collected by Whitfield. Hands it out to Perryman. Trying to force a neutral ball situation. Dow wants to try and get it out. Grabs the footy. He's tackled and now we'll have a ball up. 45 out from the Carlton goal. Scores level. 9-5, 59 apiece. 13 gone, third turn. Chucks it up. Mackay wins the hit out. Down towards Ward. Kick smothered. Spills to Briggs. Hand pass away to Canelio. To Ward by hand. Now to Himmelberg. Rides the contact. He saw 2. Got a handball out to Iden in the back pocket. And now the Giants get out of the defensive arc. Whitfield chips short to Kelly. He marks it right half back and still down.
Himmelberg.
Yeah. Holding his... it looks like he's had the air knocked out of him at the very least.
The long kick from Kelly up the city wing. Wiedering with a dominant fist. Spoils it down. Buckley went with a boot. He missed it. In fact, it was coming. A chance for Martin who picks it up. Hand pass to Paddy Dow. He comes inboard. Links up with Cottrell who swings onto his right-hand side. Long kick towards Charlie Curnow. Buckley spoils it down to the front of the pack. Kelly gathers for the Giants. Hand pass to Canelio. Not a lot of room. Kicks end over end towards the boundary line. Newman appeals that he was taken over the shoulder by Angwin. But the ball goes out of play for a throw-in. Ben Cameron on the boundary.
Yeah, our man Caleb Fingers Marchbank is warming up at the moment. He's just taken off the warm-up top. He's about to come into the game. So Blake Acres with a concussion. Interesting part now, the timing. If they play on Thursday, that's 11 days away. So Blake Acres potentially, if it is a concussion, seemingly so, a race against time.
That's going to be problematic. Really the AFL's worst nightmare if a player doesn't have enough time to recover from the HIA for the first final despite the week off. From the stoppage, Hewitt kicks inside the forward 50. Himmelberg's back at it. He leaps up, punches it away, but straight to Cottrell. Another entry inside 50, and Himmelberg safe underneath it, takes the intercept mark. Fullback for the Giants, scores level. 14 and a half gone. Third term, he kicks out to halfback, finds Whitfield. They try down the city side. Short kick to Daniels, turns plays on immediately. On the counter-attack, backpedaling Hogan, he marks. Right half forward, 40 out. And Green was calling for it in the corridor. That's Toby, and that's ignored and shut down. And now Hogan's going to have a shot.
It was a quick ball use from Himmelberg, who had the uncontested mark, in the back half, but rather than go slow, he just saw someone, just pinned his ears back and went for it and just allowed the next player to roll forward and get the one out the back. And Jesse Hogan has his shot on goal within 40.
They led by as many as 17. The Blues have drawn level twice in the third. Jesse Hogan on the set shot. He kicks the score that puts GWS back in front, but it's a minor one. 9-6 to 9-5. On the back of the Hogan behind, it's GWS by a point. 16 gone in the third.
McGovern into Hollands, who takes the mark in the right back pocket. Kicked a goal in the second quarter, which was seemed to have touched the post. Kicks it up towards Charlie Curnow. Spoiled away from the Giants defenders. It spills the way of Tom Green. Hard against the boundary. Kicks to Riccardi. He marks just in the field of play with millimetres to spare. He's going to be right up against the fence, deep in the left forward pocket.
Right on Tom Green. Not just a contested ball winning clearance pig in there as well. He got the touch as well. Love it. Beautiful little touch kick.
Jake Riccardi steps out, curls it around the corner. That's a sublime kick. Pumping his fist as he celebrates with his teammates. He's kicked goals in his last 6 matches, but that's an important one. It puts the Giants back in front by 7 points. 10-6-66 to the Blues, 9-5-59. And this wrestle continues with the Giants for the moment back inside finals, denying the Western Bulldogs.
Yeah, they just seem to have all the answers at the moment. The Giants, whenever Carlton look like they're getting a little bit of a run on, the Giants just seem to find a way back, and most of it's just been through pressure and just pure work rate. And that one you did mention then, Lids, about Tom Green, he's so good around the contest, but to have that bit of awareness and that composure around inside 50, that delivery to find Riccardi there, who was probably the only Giants player who had any sort of space inside 50 to hit him, even though he was on the boundary line. But just great composure with ball in hand.
Giants by 7. Plenty of action downstairs. We'll get to Ben in just a moment with both teams pulling the trigger on their sub as Whitfield gets a Tom Green gets a hand pass away to Kelly from the centre square, kicks GWS deep forward. Whitfield Wiedering punches it away. Too many W's. Out towards Cottrell, who's off and running. Back flank for the Blues. Hand pass to Dow. He turns and kicks inside the centre square. Mackay trying to shield the lights and protect the ball drop. Wins it eventually. Hand pass for Hewitt. Front edge centre square. Kicks out wide for Durden. Can't trap it below his knees. Breaking it up. Perryman finds the safety of the boundary line. And a throw in 48 metres out from the Carlton goal. Ben Cameron on the boundary.
I don't know whether this is good news or bad news, but it's not concussion for Blake Acres. It's actually a collarbone, so possibly worse for him. Toby McMullen has been subbed out of the game for the GWS Giants. Nick Haynes running on the ground right as I speak.
Thanks, Benny. Thrown back in. Briggs slaps it down for the Giants. Hollands can't gather for the Blues. It's Lloyd who gets a hand pass out to Daniels. Trying to link up with Bedford. Spinning away from Sard. He's able to get it back as Daniels at left half back. Using his pace to create space. And a beautiful kick into the middle of the ground. Whitfield marks. Releases Bedford. Gets the centre half forward. Kicks inside 50. Riccardi takes the mark. Despite the desperate efforts from Cincotta. Couldn't get back. And Jake Riccardi, an easier shot this time in the right forward pocket. On a 45-degree angle, will shoot from 20 metres out.
There was a lot to like in that play. Brent Daniels, well done to you. But Toby Bedford, just the handball and then just the race forward to get on the end of it and be involved in the chain of possession play. Just two small forwards who work really hard up the ground, providing a lot of options for the Giants.
28 goals for the season for Jake Riccardi, and marked down another as he kicks back-to-back goals for the Giants and opens up a 13-point buffer. 11-6-72 for the Giants. The Blues 9-5-59. 20 minutes gone, third term on ABC Sport. You're with Brett Delidio and Mark Murphy.
Yeah, Toby Bedford's ability there to split the two Carlton defenders and go and just hit the loud button and went straight in between them. Yeah. Handball out. Brent Daniels was like, I've got that little handball to Cal Ward. You know what? I think I can get around this player. Yeah. And that kick inside just to open the game up to Lockie Whitfield. And the blokes with speed get it in their hands. Toby Bedford put the hammer down. Away he went. Jake Riccardi, he's had a bit of a dirty day, but the last couple of minutes, it just goes to show, keep running your same patterns, keep working hard, it can turn for you. Got 2 goals to his name now, and the Giants are kicked out.
There was some smart recruiting, wasn't it? They lose Bobby Hill and they pick up Toby Bedford, who couldn't get consistent game time at Melbourne with Cosy Pickett in front of him, and he's had an impact.
Giants by 13 points. Score was level on 2 different occasions earlier in the quarter. And the twin goals to Riccardi is, Quincy said, 29 for the year now, which is a career best. Played 18 games, kicked 29 goals. High water mark in both categories this year for Riccardi. Tossed up back in the middle. Ward had it, lost it. Hand pass to Briggs. His hand pass too hot for Kelly. Dow steals it. Blues out the front door. Kick from Hewitt smothered. Spills down towards Cunningham under pressure. Loose hand pass inside 50. Ash whacks it forward as Cunningham just lays out Owies. Ball ends up on the wing. Hewitt has it back for the Blues. There's a late call here for a push. It's coming back to Hewitt on the wing, and Carlton will get it. There's a fair bump. Isaac coming on Matt Owies, but I'm not sure he saw that contact coming and was a little slow to react. Pick himself back up off the turf. In a slow play here, the Blues, as the ball's finally returned to Hewitt. Kicks to the hot spot. Coming in late, Buckley got his fist to it. Ball spits out towards the boundary line, and Hollands in the end sees it over with Anglin. We'll have a throw in 30 around from the Carlton goal.
Gotta love Jack Buckley. The last couple of inside 50s coming off Charlie Curnow and actually getting a big fist on the contest. Rather than just staying and worrying about Charlie, he's thinking about team.
You got to know your wits, don't you, to take away from Charlie Curnow. Mackay wins down the tap, straight to Tom Green, who puts it out on the full. The Bronx cheers from the Carlton fans as Ollie Hollands have it hard out to the left. 55 out, he goes towards Charlie Curnow. It clears he and Buckley. Working back is Briggs. Takes the mark on his chest. The impressive ruckman for the Giants. They've been searching for someone to fill the shoes of Shane Mumford. And he works it away to Whitfield. Links up with Iden. Gets the hand pass away to Harry Himmelberg. Swings on his left, back to his right, up towards Riccardi. Full of confidence, can't take the mark. Marchbank involved. Lloyd's kick spills off Kemp, and it goes out on the full. Lucky for the Giants, just in front of their bench. GWS by 13 points.
What's the 50 for? 50 for, I think it was Paddy Dow coming off to come off the ground through the interchange, but that's exactly where the man on the mark was, and the Giants player. So he's gone just to interchange, but he's run straight through the mark.
You can't do that.
You have to be dead to be stiff, do you?
So now Daniel Lloyd, who was in front of the interchange gates, is now having a shot. Matt Cottrell, who stands the mark, is 2 steps inside the 50. Giants by 13 points. They've kicked the last 2. The retiring Giant trying to extend his career at least one more game. Arcs out to the right-footed drop punt. He has crushed that. Straight through. GWS have kicked 3 in a row. And the G-men are out to a new game high advantage. It is GWS by 19 points. Time on in the third term. 12-6-78. Carlton a 9-5-59. Paddy Dow is on the blower on the Carlton bench after that 50.
Game high lead, Corby. They were 17, I think you called earlier. Well done to the G-men. They've continued to press, haven't they? That's what's been most impressive, is they haven't gone into their shell at all. Even when they just haven't allowed Carlton to get their game style up and going. Even when they've looked likely to go for a kick, they've like, oh, maybe I can just handball that. Such is the pressure that's been coming from the Giants players.
I can't remember a time where I've seen Charlie or Harry on a lead with space.
No space.
So that just tells you that the pressure around the ball's been really significant from the Giants. And then also the defensive work of their big key tall backs has been really impressive.
Such as the margins in this season. If the game finished now, the Giants would jump to 7th on the AFL ladder. Keith gets the clearance for the Giants. Hand pass to Cornelio, drives them inside 50. Brown works his way to the front. Had the size and the flight to slide in front of Chincotta and take an impressive mark directly in front, 30 metres out from goal.
Yeah, it was an impressive grab just coming from the side. Starting off a half-forward flank there, and then the ball just coming in long. Usually you expect your big key targets coming out of the goal square to compete, but he's just flown, as you called it, Clinchy, right across the front of the pack and taken a really strong grab.
The Category B rookie from County Derry from Ireland. All of a sudden he's a forward and a chance to extend the Giants' lead as he steers it straight through the middle. And similar to what they did to start the second quarter, the Giants put on 4 on the trot. And all of a sudden they're out by a game-high 25-point lead. 13-6-84 to the Blues, 9-5-59. So that's 4 goals in about 7 or 8 minutes to open up a sizable gap.
Well, there's a reason why Adam Kingsley continues to play this guy. He's an athletic beast. He's one of the quickest players I've ever seen. My last ever training session, I said, right, we're having a race. I don't know what I was thinking at 32 years of age against this guy, but he He was 5 metres in front of me and turned around and nearly started running backwards. He was going that quick. And I still clocked one of my fastest times ever on the GPS. But he is electric, this guy.
So on the live ladder, GWS with the 4 points here, a 1.1% behind St Kilda. So all of a sudden, not only do the Giants, if they can win, they'll play finals. If they win by enough, they might even host one and get themselves to 6th. So that'll be the next watch. As Dow out of the middle gets the clearance for Carlton. Out to half-back, Himmelberg pokes the pass down the line and Angwin marks. So the only way they can actually finish 8th is if they draw, because Sydney have the half game. So a win will be enough to get the Giants to at least 7th, possibly as high as 6th. As Angwin heads down to half forward for the Giants, McGovern scoots across. Can Carlton come again here? Hand pass away to Kemp. Kemp steps his way around Hogan, floats an untidy kick down the wing. Ash can't trap it, spills to Walsh. Hand pass to Fisher, that's smooth. Works his way through traffic, hits Curnow, drops a chest mark. Coming undone a little for the Blues. Hand pass missed his target. Toby Green's got it on the wing for the Giants.
Kicks up towards Jesse Hogan, the fend off on Kemp. He takes the mark at left half forward. He's got Riccardi deep, he centres it to Bedford. He takes the chest mark. As Marchbank came lady, Cannon's right in the middle of his back. Toby Bedford will slowly get to his feet. Toby Green wants the hand pass. He won't give that. Directly in front, 45 metres out from goal. He will give it though to Harry Himmelberg. Ran into a dead end and the tackle's laid by Fogarty. They were away to that. And holding the ball is given.
Not sure about calling for it there. No. There's a bloke who's 45 out. Give him confidence to go back and have a shot. He's directly in front. Go back and be 5 goals ahead.
Lockie Fogarty gets rewarded for his tackle as he goes back to Mitch McGovern. He chips it to Sard, returns the hand pass back to McGovern, who drives it up to the City wing. Marchbank the target in a 2-on-1. Nick Haynes courageously back with the flight. Takes an excellent mark. The Giants playing confident footy now. Chips it forward to Lloyd between wing and half forward.
Giants by 25 late in the third quarter. Lloyd kicks inside 50. Daniels the target. Good spoil Sard. Finds the safety of the boundary line and a throw in 30 out from the Giants goal.
Just working a bit harder at the moment, the Giants. Seems like there's no breaks of play for anyone in a Carlton jumper who's prepared to really work hard to a wing and provide an option. Giants just owning a lot of the space out there at the moment.
Shallow boundary throw in, almost hitching Cotter in the back of the head. Didn't turn around, falls to Martin in the end. His hand pass ends up with Keefe. Gives it off to Toby Green, kick smothered. Jack Martin with a 1%er and the ball spills out of bounds. So a throw in again, similar spot. 30 out from the Giants goal. GWS have kicked the last 4 goals to lead by 25 late in the third. They've led at three-quarter time on just 7 occasions previously this year, but have won them all, GWS.
Thrown back in, DeConey knocks it down to the front. Martin's tackled. He hand passes out of play under enough pressure from Daniels. And the umpire will throw it in. They've beaten the Blues on the clearance in this third quarter, which is so often a key component of Carlton's game. 11-8 GWS's way. With the Giants leading by 25 points, approaching three-quarter time. Thrown back in, Keefe and DeConing continue their battle. It's slapped down to the front. Tom Green another disposal. Hand pass to Perryman, off balance, kicks inside 50. Marchbank works his way to the front. Takes the mark for the Blues. The sub into the action for Blake Acres.
Former Giant himself. As Marchbank goes long out to half-back. Big fly from Martin, no mark. Spills down to Buckley. Hand pass to Perryman. GWS go inside again, and Perryman puts it out on the full. Ben Cameron's on the download.
Timely you mentioned Blake Acres. He's come back to the bench. Civvy's on. Right arm in a sling. Looking pretty disconsolate, understandably so.
Suspected collarbone injury for Blake Acres, so that's not good at all. Right on the doorstep of finals for Carlton. Of course, Acres played in 2 last year for Fremantle. Made it through to semi-final night. A hurried kick forward from the Giants is picked off in a hurry, and Sard's got it half back for the Blues. It's the Giants by 25, half-hour mark, third quarter.
Sard up towards Harry Mackay, who almost juggles the mark. Just can't hang on at the last moment. Paddy Dow trying to link up with Walsh. He can't do so. Himmelberg hard against the boundary, centre wing on the wing. Hand pass towards Haynes. He slaps it forward to Bedford. Can't take possession. Daniels onto it. Hand pass forward to Bedford. Look away. Hand pass to Canelio at right half forward. Kicks towards Toby Green on the bounce. He gathers. Jams it towards goal, and it's offline to the right. He's never been too far from the action, Toby Green, tonight. 3 goals, 2 as the Giants lead by 26 points.
It's been a bit of an area of concern for Carlton is the way in which they've exited from stoppage today, the Giants, and then been able to get numbers ahead of the football and run the ball out in waves.
Oh, McGovern goes very wide after taking ground on the kick out and puts it out on the full. So collarbone concerns for Akers. Carlton protecting a 9-game winning sequence. They'll finish 5th regardless of what happens here, but this match is slipping away. Giants by 26 points late in the third. Coming into the forward pocket, in from the side. Marchbank kills it. Puts it to row H. We'll have a boundary throw in forward pocket for the Giants. GWS by 26 points. They've kicked the last 4 goals in the match.
Yeah, the buzz around Docklands. Predominantly a Blues crowd for this final match of the home and away season. Toss back in. Keefe and De Koning. It spills down. Bedford tried to rove it. Can't gather. Chincotta with a clearing barrel straight up the wing. But underneath it is Harry Himmelberg. Takes the mark in front of Harry Mackay. Tried to race back. Turns and chips boundary side to Cumming. The Giants want one more roll of the dice before three-quarter time. He wheels onto his right. Kicks as far as he can in towards Hogan. He can't take the mark. Kemp very cleverly nudged him underneath to take the mark and chips it out to Walsh, who marks it right half back. Sammy Walsh, possession number 23, coming up on his return.
Walsh heads down to Mackay, no mark. Slips through. Whitfield pushed off it. Curnow knocks it forward. Here's Fogarty, floats a kick inside 50. Cunningham was chasing that, but time beat him. And GWS, after leading by as many as 17 points in the second quarter, had that whittled away to just a 5-point advantage at half-time. The Blues drew level twice early in the third quarter. And then GWS put their foot on the gas. They've kicked the last 4 goals of the game, playing for a spot in September. And as we turn for home, GWS are protecting a 26-point advantage, which is a game high. GWS 13-7-85, Carlton 9-5-59. The goal kickers for GWS, Toby Green has 3. No surprise there. 2 for Canelio, 2 for Riccardi, both coming in that third quarter. And then singles for Ward, Cumming, Hogan, Keefe, Lloyd and Brown. While for Carlton, Charlie Curnow has 3. They've all come to the Coventry end. 2 for Owies and then 1 for De Koning, Martin, Hewitt and Cottrell. Just on the scoreline, Clenchy, so 85 plays 59. The Blues in a game have only conceded more than 85 points once since round 13, and that was 87 last week. So that's a big score they've conceded by their standards, Carlton, particularly on this run that they've been on over the past couple of months.
Giants led by 26 points at three-quarter time. Great to have your company on Sunday Night Footy on Grandstand AFL.
Hello, I'm Patrick Stack, and if you like great stories and you enjoy sport, then I reckon you need ABC Sport Daily in your life.
I was kind of on Builder Watch, so I was taking in as much as I could.
Tactically, he either had to make a really bold decision to get out the front of that pack and try and lead them, or sit back and see what happened. He sat back, the pace was slow, and he missed the kick.
The only difference is they're not winning, and when you're not winning comes the scrutiny.
It's a daily sports conversation, and it's called ABC Sport Daily. Find us on the ABC Listen app.
Grandstand AFL.
Now streaming every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Umpire chucks it up. Keith hands it away to Canelio. Kicks his second. Right forward pocket, bounces it through. And the G-men lead by that goal.
De Koning wins down the tap. Paddy Power with a burst of speed. Kicks inside 50. Curnow, he's almost spoiled by Durden. Swings out onto the right from 35 metres out. The dominant forward in the game has his third.
I don't know whether this is good news or bad news, but it's not concussion for Blake Acres. It's actually a collarbone, so possibly worse for him.
Releases Bedford, gets the centre-half forward, kicks inside 50. Riccardi takes the mark. Despite the desperate efforts from Chincotta. 28 goals for the season for Jake Riccardi and marked down another as he kicks back-to-back goals for the Giants. Tam pass to Canelio, drives him inside 50. Brown works his way to the front. Had the size and the flight to slide in front of Chincotta. The Category B rookie from County Derry from Ireland. All of a sudden he's a forward and a chance to extend the Giants' lead as he steers it straight through the middle. Similar to what they did to start the second quarter, the Giants put on 4 on the trot.
The 2023 AFL season.
On radio,
ABC Sport Digital.
And now streaming on the ABC Listen app.
It was a 5-2 third term from GWS to open up a 28-point advantage, 13-7-85 to the Blues, 9-5-59. What have the Blues got left to offer in this final term? They're most likely not going to move from fifth spot on the AFL ladder. The Giants, on the other hand, are playing for their spot in September. If they win, they're in. If they lose, the Bulldogs take the final spot in September. Matt Clinch and Corbin Middlemass calling the action ahead of Brett Delidio and Martin Murphy. Ben Cameron's down on the boundary. Ben, both subs have been made with Nick Haynes and Caleb Marchbank coming into the action.
Yeah, so just repeating the news, Blake Acres is out of the game with an apparent collarbone injury. He's icing that on the left side. There's also concerns for Zach Fisher. He was clipped off the ball late in that term, and I think he's getting treatment at the moment down in the rooms. I can't see him amongst the huddle. It was amongst all of the kerfuffle around Blake Acres. So I'll strive to confirm that with the Carlton Football Club, but concerns for Zach Fisher at the moment.
The other thing you spotted before the game, Benny, was the future CEO of the AFL, Andrew Dillon, alongside Laura Kane. And interesting that they were having a little photo shoot before the game got underway.
Yeah, absolutely. It was. We were here bright and early. Corbin's a bit of a panicker when it comes to getting here on time. So 3.5 hours before the bounce, we were in the building, and we saw the CEO-elect in Andrew Dillon, and now seemingly the new EGM of football at the AFL, Laura Kane, who's been filling in for that role. They haven't replaced Brad Scott, doing a photo shoot. And I don't think you have to be Sherlock Holmes to put two and two together, do you, to work out that it may well be for the announcement that she's going to fill that role moving forward.
Superb work from you. Giants by 28. Giants by 26 points at three-quarter time. Brett Delidio and Mark Murphy.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how many shots the Blues fire here in this last quarter, Murph. That I can't see him getting over the line, but I don't think Michael Voss will want to carry or limp through this last quarter, but
no, he won't. I don't think they'll put up the white flag by any stretch of the imagination, but I imagine it'll be difficult when you are playing this last game, when you know finals are on the horizon, to really empty the tank and really and fight and claw your way to try and get back into this game. So it's a really important start of this last quarter for the Giants to try and just snuff out any hope that Carlton have of winning this game.
Yeah, get the first one.
Can I give you some nerdy numbers?
Yep.
Yeah.
GWS closer to hosting an elimination final than they are dropping the game, so they need a further 19 points. The magic number's around 45-46 to host a final. That's what they need to win by, and obviously up by 26 as we turn for home.
So that would get them above the Saints. Final term underway. Giants leading by 26 points. De Koning tries to tap it down, but it's Briggs who gets the clearance. Pound pass to Ward. Kicks a high ball towards half forward. Brown underneath. Can't complete the mark. Spilling onto it, it's Toby Green. He runs inside 50. The kick is off the side of the boot, and it trickles out of play in the left forward pocket, despite the chase of Marchbank. A throw in up against the left behind post in the opening 30 seconds of the final term.
Well, that would put the icing on the cake, wouldn't it?
I thought I could hear it
Yeah.
from the Bulldogs boys just then with that one running in towards goals, but
3 goals, 2 for Toby Green tonight. It seemed the type of goal he would normally finish from the throw-in. Spills down the way of Haynes of the Giants. Hand pass to Bedford. Harder gets the boundary. A centering kick. Riccardi and Hogan are both there. Neither can take the mark. Brown's locked up by Hollands. Ball spills clear. Toby Green trying to spin out of a tackle. It's gathered, though, by Marchbank. Quick hand pass to Hewitt. Hand pass to Durden. Turn it over. Riccardi awkwardly gets a kick forward. It's towards Tom Green. Not 15. He's locked up just at the top of the 50 for the Giants. And the umpire will throw it up.
Giants by 26. Up it goes. De Koning wins the hit out down to Walsh, trying to break through the Ward tackle, and that sticks. He's taken to ground. We'll do it all again. A bumper crowd in again, as there has been for many Carlton home games this year, particularly over this most recent run, 9 in a row. Trying to make it 10 straight for the first time since 2000, the Blues. They got a bit of work to do. We got another stoppage. Centre half forward for the Giants. Fears too on the availability front for Carlton, with Blake Acres subbed out a suspected collarbone injury. from the restart. Tom Green, hurried kick forward. G. Brown's taken high. Loose spoil from Chincotta. Green took the advantage, kicked it along the ground, but straight to Wiedering. He's got it fullback for the Blues.
He's got to retreat with a barrel. He kicks it as far as he can. Holland's trying to go back with the flight. Courageous with Briggs coming the other way. Briggs gathers, hand pass to Kelly. Short to Toby Green. His kick is smothered. Lunging forward. Great work from Nick Newman. It's gathered by Kelly. His kick inside 50 is cut off. Saad takes the mark in the left back pocket for the Blues. GWS by 26 points as Saad plays on, swings onto his left, hugs the boundary line with a kick to Charlie Curnow. He swings onto his right, wants to move it up towards Martin, setting himself in front is Iden. He's had a good season. He takes the intercepting mark for the Giants. Hand pass to Whitfield, into the middle of the ground. Daniels takes the mark, thought about cutting left, back on his right, centres it to Bedford. Great kick straight down the middle.
Well, he spoke about Connor Iden having a fantastic season. He has a great game today. He's completely blanketed Jack Martin. It's been their movement off half back and their ability to get it back inside the corridor. Brent Daniels has been that player quite a few times. Just right across centre half forward there, very centre of the ground. Just opens up everything, doesn't it? Yep. When you can get it into that area, gives you full access to the whole 50. Toby Bedford, the lucky recipient at this point in time.
It's the work rate from both those guys, Brent Daniels and Toby Bedford, who just continually work hard up and down the ground. They just never stand still.
18 games in 4 years at Melbourne. He's playing his 16th game of the season here. Toby Bedford comes in, drags it left, and it will miss. A minor score. That would have been a telling blow to start the final term. 3 minutes in, the Giants lead by 27 points.
McGovern on the kick out, dangerous, just got it to Fogarty, couldn't take the mark, almost run down by Daniels. So the Giants are red hot here. They're not just going to ease out of this game. He goes wide to Durden, and Durden retreats back in the defensive arc for McGovern. Ball movement has deserted Carlton, trying to link up with Gerard, knocked down by Tom Green. Daniels links up with Toby, lifts a hand pass over to the goal line, just picked off by Riccardi, jams it on the boot, and he's got his third. They're going to go up to confirm that, but this game-high advantage grows. And GWS are not only thinking about September, they might be thinking about staging a game themselves. 33 points, the Giants lead, 4 gone final term.
Well, we all had the oohs and the ahs because Toby Green handballed the ball over the top in the goal square, but put just a little bit too much on it. And the umpire was in the perfect spot to call it, but he would have handballed that straight to the white line. And lucky enough, Riccardi was able to stop on a dime and put it through.
Well, the only reason you handballed that, though, is because he's had a couple of moments recently where
he's had some moments.
He's gone for some shots that he probably shouldn't have. Took the advantage of Cal Brown's just before, and a couple of snaps when Josh Kelly's been running around for a little wraparound. So you can understand why he gave that one off.
So the Giants by 33 points. As it stands at the moment, there's 0.6 of a percentage. 0.6 it is between they and the Saints. Back in the middle, Cornelio gets the clearance, kicks towards half forward, onto a Toby Green. He's tackled by McGovern. Hand pass inside 50. Bedford knocks it on. Tom Green gathers 1-2 with Haynes. Tom Green swings onto his right, outside of the boot, misses everything. No left boot. Out on the full. Giants by 33 points at the 5-minute mark of the final term. On the SMS, it's been pointed out at the three-quarter time last year, the Blues had a 24-point lead, and the Dogs thought their season was done. They trailed by 26 points at three-quarter time here, but not the same intent being shown by Carlton as what we saw from Collingwood last year, with a little more to play for the Giants than what Carlton have in this circumstance. Cottrell's clearing kick is spoiled out of play and a boundary throw-in.
The Blues will finish 5th regardless on the live ladder. It looks as if they'll be hosting Sydney in an elimination final from the boundary throw-in. De Koning wins the hit out. Tom Green picks it though for GWS. Kicks down to half forward to his namesake Toby, leapt up, and then on his way down, McGovern lost track of the footy and Green hugs it to his chest. And Toby Green can shoot from left half forward about 50 out.
He does some strange things, doesn't he, Toby, on the footy field, but geez, I'll tell you what, how many shots on goal would he have had now? He's kicked, 3-1, 3-2, and he's had 3 or 4 smothered, and one where he ran into the open goal just earlier this quarter. God, for a guy at 182, geez, he can generate some shots on goal.
He's copping the jeers as he walks in. And the Carlton faithful, Toby Green, kicks a wounded duck. as it floats into the front row. He's missed everything. He's shown us the whole bag today, Toby Green.
Oh.
Margin stays at 33. GWS now chasing a home final. In fact, it may have been touched by the man on the mark to give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. So as a result, it's going to be spun in. We'll have a boundary throw-in.
Just shows you never own the game of AFL football, do you? You can be an absolute superstar and still have a merit a few times every now and again.
He's had 8 shots on goal, Lids. Charlie Kerner with 5. From the throw-in, Daniels swings onto his right on the bounce. It's going to get there. Clears the fingertips of Wiedering. And we will check. But the Giants are celebrating. They think it's through. Brent Daniels, who's such a dangerous forward, the pint-sized dynamo, on the move at the stoppage, and did Wiedering get a touch onto it with his left hand at full stretch.
He's pointing to the middle of the ground, Wieders, I reckon.
So it's only whether it brushed the forearm as he tried to lunge after it.
Oh, it looks close.
Well, maybe he's pointing that they want to go straight up the guts.
I need to try that on
it
every
almost
kick
looks
in.
like a finger or something's come back, hasn't it?
We've got the 3 different camera angles on the big screen.
Non-conclusive, if you ask me. I think that's what we'll get.
Yes, which would revert back to umpire's call. As you look at it for about the 7th or 8th time. Goal umpire was in the perfect position. It's just the awkward bounce that made it a little hard to work out.
No, missed it. Let's go.
Yeah. As they zoom in on the camera on the left goalpost, that seems to give us a definitive answer. Brett Daniels is watching, as everyone else is.
Well, was it touched at the...
Oh, hang on. Now we're going to see if Nick Newman touched it for the initial shot on goal. I know this is a late Sunday night game, but the kids will be asleep by the time we reach this version.
To determine if the ball is touched or not. Decision on the scoreboard.
Soft call stands.
And we wait. Umpire's call. The goal will be registered. The Giants with the opening 2 goals of the final term. 9 minutes into the final term. And GWS lead by 39 points. 15-8-98 to the Blues. 9-5-59. It feels like they've shut the gate at the 10-minute mark of the final term, unless something drastically changes.
Yeah, you're right, Clinchy. It looks like it's probably going to be a Giants win. And it was another clearance win. They've had 6 clearances to zip in this last quarter. So they're well and truly in front of the game at the moment, the Giants.
Ben Cameron on the boundary.
Zach Fisher back on the bench, sitting on the front row. So may well have completed the 20 minutes down in the rooms and be okay to continue. I'll see whether he comes back on, but sitting on the front row of the bench after those concussion concerns.
Thanks, Ben. He's been there for a while now. There's no doubt about that. Giants by 39. So we can safely say that the Giants are playing finals. The question is, are they hosting one? They're just 0.3% behind St Kilda. And all of a sudden, it's the Saints fans who are anxious as the Dogs head to Mad Monday. Cunningham out of the middle for Carlton. Kicks down to half forward and off hands. It slides out of bounds. So the ramifications, the Dogs are done. And St Kilda, who currently sit in 6th spot, GWS are hunting them down percentage-wise. They lead by 39. Another 2 goals and GWS will jump them into 6th spot, and they'll host the Saints out at Giant Stadium for the boundary throw-in. De Koning grabs it out of the right, kicks to the top of the goal square. Curnow can't trap it. Fumbles, comes to Buckley. Hand pass in the back pocket to Angwin. Handball away to Himmelberg. Hurried kick out to half-back. Brown moves aside Chimcotta, but Marchbank, 3rd man up, floats through to take the mark. Carlton going back inside forward 50. It is a congested one. Curnow the target, but up strong and a good intercept mark. Himmelberg, fullback for the Giants. He'll poke the pass to the back pocket and find Haynes. GWS by 39 points, 11 gone final term.
Works it over the top to Lockie Ash.
I thought when Sam Taylor was out of this side, I had real concerns today, but geez, that back 6 has been so solid right throughout.
They've almost won every contest down there, haven't they? In terms of every matchup has been a Giants win.
Especially after the first quarter. Hogan with an impressive mark as he takes it on the wing from the kick from Ash. GWS have met the moment. They've delivered their best with finals on the line. Up towards half forward. Brown can't take the mark. Spills to Daniels. Squeeze the kick to Keefe. Gets the hand pass to Cornelio. Links up with Cumming. He has Himmelberg at the edge of the centre square. He kicks inside 50. What a pass. Angwin didn't have to move. deep in the right forward pocket, a tracer bullet that hit him on the chest.
It was probably 5 or 6 handballs in a row that were all just clean and just spaced, and they all knew exactly where their teammate was. Just beautiful ball movement, and then the kick was just first class.
The speed of how quickly it got there just does not give the Carlton defenders any sort of a sniff. That's the beauty of having Harry Himmelberg playing on the last line.
Ryan Angwin, the third-year Giant from Foster and Gippsland. He absolutely misses everything. Off the outside of the boot, across the face of goal, and Wiedering takes the mark. It's just about as bad set shot as you can have.
Giants by 39. They're 7th on the live ladder, chasing St Kilda's percentage for a home final. Out to half-back, Mackay goes short to Fogarty. Dogs are done. You can pack them up for season 2023, and I'm sure they'll be a bit pulled apart on their season in the coming days. Start at centre half back, hand pass to Newman, heads down the wing. Shara feeds a handball wide to Hollands. Hollands high half forward, kicks into Buckley. Ball ricochets back into traffic. Cunningham trying to pick it up, goes to ground. Pat forms around him and says ball up. Blake Acres collarbone concern. Zach Fisher had a head injury assessment, but he's back. How's he look, Ben Cameron?
Literally just run out onto the ground right now, Corbin, so he's back out there. Good news, because if it was concussion and the final was next Thursday, that'd be 11 days. He wouldn't make the 12-day stand down.
Giants win it from the stoppage and the clearance for Kelly down to half forward, but Wearing's there to take the intercept mark. Giants by 39, 13 gone, final quarter.
Wiedering plays on. Hogan corrals him, swings on his left-hand side, kicks up the wing. Newman will have to fly. Ward spills it down. Durdenwin in the air against Bedford, who's grabbing at his shoulder. Ball spills clear. Kelly gathers for the Giants. Hand pass out in front of Lloyd. He can gather it right half forward. He can poke a kick inside 50, and Toby Green marks on his chest. Is it another shot on goal coming up for Toby, who's had so much of the footy?
He sniffs the turnover quicker than most blokes.
This is his ninth shot on goal, Lids.
Yeah, and that was just a congested play. Toby Bedford really attacked that ball hard. I thought he might have hurt himself. Come off and get checked off, maybe. But the ability to squeeze that ball out, Daniel Lloyd got onto it really quickly as a winger. Toby just snuck forward.
The walk-up All-Australian this season. He comes in through 50. The Giants captain steers it through for his fourth. A clap of the hands and a celebration in the forward 50. Toby Green standing up with his fourth goal to lead the Giants back into September. For a sixth time in 8 years, after featuring, of course, in the grand final 4 years ago. And the first year under Adam Kingsley, what a response it's been from the Giants in the second half of the season. And more importantly, with that kick, the potential to host a final. And Saints fans, and that's the ramification for so many fans listening tonight, Bulldogs fans would be in their hands, and St Kilda fans would be thinking, hang on, we might have to book flights to Sydney for the first week of the finals.
So they're exactly on 107.8 in percentage, GWS and St Kilda. But for whatever reason, I'm not sure why, Corbin, that GWS...
Goals kicked, is it, or...?
I think
points scored?
It's points for to start with. Yep, so they're obviously a better attacking team than St Kilda.
Yeah, right.
So Saints are ranked 15th, I think, in the league for points for, and really they've got there on the back of their defence. 45, the magic number. GWS are on it at the moment. They've kicked the last 7 in the game. Have Carlton got something left for St Kilda fans to try and win back the final? Fisher's tackled and threw it out, and Bedford gets it. GWS are going inside the forward arc again. The crowd has thinned out in what was a near sellout. Bedford kicks into the forward pocket. Green in a tangle with McGovern. Ball slides through and out of play. Ben Cameron on the boundary.
I reckon the calculations are just starting to happen right in front of me on the GWS bench. The live ladder came up on the big screen. They were all looking at it. There are a lot of conversations, a lot of looking at what they can to try and work out. The runner went out, went to the midfield and the defenders. I think they're just reminding them of what's at stake.
They're there at the moment. Bang on. A home final for GWS. 6th on the live ladder. Clearing kick out of the defensive arc is picked off. Walsh can't get it past the outstretched hands of Isaac Cummin, who has it left half forward, kicks into the forward pocket. Hogan just shoves aside Marchbank, gives away the free. Free kick for Marchbank. We got 10 minutes to go. In the last home and away game of the season, GWS provisionally in 6th. They've moved ahead of St Kilda on percentage. They're playing finals and at this stage hosting one.
Marchbank the sub into the action for Akers, kicks long up the wing. Charlie Curnow gathers off the deck. Couldn't get a hand pass away to Cunningham, so he socks it into the middle of the ground. It might work. Hollands with the hand pass to Mackay. Thought about the hand pass. Now it's chopped off by Bedford. The second option was too slow. Harry regathers. Mackay with the hand pass to Cunningham, who eventually gets it back to Hollands. Pulls his kick out towards Cottrell. He marks 70 out. Into the pocket he goes. Down low for Martin. He's had a quiet match. Socket away by Whitfield. Comes back. Still a chance for the Blues, although locked up in the forward 50 was Hewitt, and then Martin is eventually tackled in the right forward pocket by Angwin. The ball up in the right forward pocket for the Blues, but it's the Giants who lead by 45 points, 17 goal final term.
Carlton's last goal came at the 12-minute mark of the third quarter. Moved out of the way, Curnow on the right. Briggs kicks it straight up and down in the same spot, flirting with the boundary line, touched by Tom Green and out of play.
And it was really a goal out of nothing, wasn't it, Corbett? That was the George Hewitt goal from stoppage. So they really haven't,
left footer.
They really haven't sort of looked like it in this entire second half.
It was the Curnow goal, 12-minute mark. Hewitt one started the quarter. There were only 2 goals after half-time. 45-point lead for GWS from the boundary throw-in. Briggs grabs it out of the ruck, hurried kick forward, and Marchbank takes the intercept mark. 17 and a half gone. Final turn, Marchbank wants to go back. This is dangerous, trying to link up with Wiedering. Just got to him in time. Moves it on by hand for Carlton. They're on the wing city side. McGovern to half forward, trying to hit up Walsh. Bounced off his chest. He was hit illegally. So, they're playing out the minutes here, GWS. They know what's at stake for them. Carlton looking to try and break this run of 7 straight Giants goals. Kicks to the hot spot. No mark coming. Falls down to Tom Green. Should kick to Bedford. Marks at centre-half back. Ben Cameron on the boundary.
Yeah, they certainly do. GWS, a lot of messages to the players who are about to go on, just letting them know exactly what they need to do. A lot of working out the machinations down here.
Bedford to Lloyd, kicks towards Cal Ward in from the side. Surely he chopped the arms of Wiedering and the umpire saw it that way. Who are the 4 players Adam Kingsley's getting to the bench in the last 5 minutes, Lids?
You want to...
Well, no one at the moment.
Yeah.
Want to keep on putting the foot down.
You got to keep the foot on the throat here at the moment. They're haven't locked up that. There's still 8 minutes and a little bit to play. Toby, you'd probably be coming, I would have thought.
Marchbank has got a 50-metre penalty. Sends it inside 50. Durden can't get after it. As Perryman nudges him underneath, and it goes out of play in the right forward pocket for the Blues. Giants by 45 points. The crowd posted at 44,354. Ben Cameron on the boundary.
Posed the question, Clinchy, about GWS, who comes to the bench. Charlie Curnow on the bench now, understandably, for the Blues.
Yep, good call. Briggs wins down the tap looking for Tom Green. It's gathered by Durden. His shot on goal might bounce through. A lunging effort from Iden. He just couldn't get a hand to it as it trickled past his bootlaces. And we might go upstairs once more. And the goal umpire wants to just check whether it touched a boot on the way through. But if not, Corey Durden has kicked just Carlton's 3rd goal of the second half and first of this final term.
It's a big goal in the season, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
How crazy is that? 45 points the difference. Last game of the year in the home and away season, and yet there's a heap on getting this call right.
Do you reckon that's known amongst the crowd here at Docklands? Because it's not really flashed on the scoreboard, so you sort of need to be across all the machinations.
Ooh.
Now we're having a look as to whether it was touched by Briggs on the way through as well.
No, well clear of that.
The reverse
That's a
angle
goal.
shows that's not a
That's a
consideration.
clever goal. That's a really clever goal from a small forward. Being tackled, get on the outside of the boot.
That's cleared Iden. So Corey Durden's goal is going to count. And the Blues fans for a while haven't had much to cheer about, but they do now. Their first goal of the final term comes at the 20-minute mark through Corey Durden. GWS 16-8, 104 to the Blues. 10-5, 65.
It's a big goal.
So 39 points is the margin, and the Giants are 7th.
Yes, Giants back to 7th, so St Kilda back with the home final as it sits at the moment. Ben Cameron on the boundary.
Adam Kingsley right in front of me, turning around to the bench. We need 2 more goals for a home final.
So there's 8 and a bit minutes to go. We're already in time on in this final term. Carlton, their first goal since the 12-minute mark of the third. And really, Carlton are playing for St Kilda's percentage. GWS playing for their own. And it looks like we're set for week 1 of the finals. The only question that remains is that Giants-Saints game going to be in Melbourne or at Giants Stadium? At the moment, it's in Melbourne. There's a kick in it either way. The Dogs are done. You can pack them up for 2023. Giants by 39 points in play. Carlton will finish 5th. The Giants now either 6th or 7th, depending on what happens next. Daniels out of the middle, hand pass to Whitfield, kicks out to the wing. There's Bedford, slaps it down to Lloyd, hand pass away to Perryman. Giants know exactly what's at stake with plenty of hustle. Hand pass to Bedford, feeds it back to Daniels under pressure. Another hot handball to Fisher. Fisher dishes it off by hand to Newman. Off the back flank, chips the pass along the boundary line city side and finds Mackay. Looks back inboard. Here's Cunningham who takes the mark. Hand pass to the run of Newman. Running in numbers now, Carlton. Gives it to Walsh. Kicks to a 2-on-1. Fogarty's got plenty to do. Hands to it, no mark. Falls front and centre. Always attacks it hard and now a ball up. 40 metres out from the Carlton goal at centre half forward. Giants by 39. St Kilda 6th on the live ladder. GWS 7th.
Still plenty of time to go in this match. Thrown up to Koning, tries to knock it down, but it's straight to Lloyd of the Giants. Kicks up the city wing, an awkward bouncing ball for Sard. He gathers, but Bedford gathers him. He somehow got it to his boot, kicks into the middle of the ground. It's picked up by Whitfield, trying to get it forward. Riccardi had to wait for it, getting back Marchbank. Spoils it down for the Blues, kicks towards Chera, he's outmanoeuvred. And Kelly takes the mark, he wants to play on. He shovels a 30-metre hand pass forward. Riccardi had to wait for it. He's tackled immediately by Marchbank. Releases it to Bedford. He's ragdolled by Cottrell. Umpires call play on. It's Daniels who gathers. Hand pass to Tom Green. Feeds it back to Kelly at left half forward. Trying to swing onto that left boot. Kicks inside 50. Brown in a tangle. Almost takes the mark. Cincotta slice to the front. Both had a piece of it. Toby Green somehow gets it. He kicks it towards Canelio. Barely 15. He gathers for 3 in his 200th. It bounces the wrong side. And a behind. So 40 points is the lead for GWS at the 23-minute mark. Steve Canelio with 2 goals too.
A goal would give the Giants a home final. 6 minutes and change to play. Giants by 40. Blues out of defence. Newman gives it to Wiedering. Kicks up to the wing. Kind bounce for De Koning. Long kick forward. Kemp's been thrown to full forward. 1-on-1 with Iden. Ball slips past them both. Kemp goes to ground. Sits on top of the footy. Now trying to hold it in. Umpire circles and says ball up. Forward 50 stoppage for the Blues. Fingernails being chewed by the St Kilda players and fans. They want to know whether they're playing in Sydney or playing here in Melbourne. At the moment, the Saints in 6th spot. De Koning palms it down. Chera trying to jump on top of it. Tom Green just knocks it out for GWS. Blues looking for the boundary. Walsh finds it. Says all okay. Boundary throw in. Left forward pocket for the Blues. Giants by 40 points. 25 gone. Final term.
Jacob Wiedering, another one who's just come to the bench. I think it's probably been put on ice for this evening.
So Kerno, Wiedering, there's 2 spots taken. Thrown in to Koning. Can't gather it. It bounces off his chest. Cunningham's onto it for the Blues. Hand pass to Fisher. Links up with Holland. The kick is smothered by Daniels. Canelio races after it. Left it for Keith. Hand pass to Canelio. Tackled by Durden. Gets the hand pass away to Ash for the Giants. Chips it back and an Iden marks. He spots Lloyd free. Inside the defensive 50, takes the mark. He runs at Cottrell, draws him and feeds the hand pass wide to Whitfield. He's provided some run and dash from halfback. He chips it up to Bedford. Centre wing, he wants to play on. Feeds the hand pass back to Whitfield. He charges away from Fogarty. Runs alongside him and kicks up towards 50. Awkward bouncing ball for Haynes. It's gathered by Kelly. Hand pass to Daniels. He's tackled by Holland. Hand pass over his shoulders, but straight to Marchbank of the Blues. He kicks towards Fogarty, who luckily was in front to hug the mark to his chest.
Final 5 minutes. St Kilda have a home final at this stage against the Giants. The Giants need a goal to make that game in Sydney. Hand pass to Hollands. Handball to Walsh. Blues through the middle of Docklands. Gives it to Cottrell. Handball away to De Koning. Now to Chera. Looks inside the forward arc. Kick goes deep. Mackay down there. Punched away from him and out of play. The Giants are playing this out like it is a one-point game.
I wonder if the Carlton players know what they're playing for here, because they'll be thinking, why are these blokes still going hard as a cut snake?
It is 40 points the margin. A forward 50 stoppage for the Blues. The Giants are 1 goal away from hosting that elimination final. We're in the final 5 minutes of the home and away season. DeConey wins it down. Durden, hand pass to Cunningham, handball to Hewitt. He gives it to Martin. Martin gets his left leg free, kicks to the top of the goal square. Himmelberg knocks it away, and Haynes will be able to run onto it at half-back for GWS.
He gathers, looks for options across half-back. He kicks up towards Bedford. He marks it left half-back. GWS lead by 40 points. And for the moment, they're in 7th spot. They need another goal. Bedford drives it as long as he can towards half-forward. Riccardi flies at the back. Good mark taken by Kemp. There were a few moments in this final term was at full forward with Charlie Curnow off. Back to his traditional half-back spot. Kicks up towards Newman. He takes the mark in front of the boundary line. He comes inboard and finds Sard. Sard chips it to Fisher. Barely 15. Umpire calls in to play on. Swings onto his left boot. Kicks it long towards Mackay. He's wrestling with a couple. Cumming punches it down. Spills straight into the path of Hewitt. Can't get a clean disposal away. Ward came rushing at him. Put the pressure on and locks the ball up. 45 metres out from the Carlton goal. Ben Cameron on the boundary.
We're getting the Carlton hierarchy set. So Curnow's on the bench, Wiedering's on the bench, and Walsh is on the bench. McGovern about to go back on. We'll have it set in a moment.
From the stoppage, Gerra, hand pass to Fisher. Fisher kicks a goal. Oh, when the Blues go marching in. A huge goal for Carlton. A 34-point lead for GWS. And St Kilda's home finals looking a little more assured. GWS with it all to do. 3 and a bit minutes to go in this final term. Carlton moved to 11-5-71. GWS 16-9-105. Giants by 34. GWS now need 2 goals to try and get a home elimination final.
Yeah, and they just look spent at the moment, don't they? Unfortunately, the Giants have put so much effort into winning this game and just worked themselves into the ground. It just looks like they're just out on their feet at the moment. Both teams look like they're both exhausted, but the Giants have just done so much work to get in this position. And it just feels like they just don't have the extra tickets to get this job done, but there's still 3 minutes to go.
Max on the SMS was asking the question as to whether there was any concerns for the Blues. Murph as Hewitt gets the clearance, kicks inside 50. Durden can't take it, it's slapped away from him. Hollins is trying to gather for the Blues on half forward. Martin has a go at it, he can't emerge with it. Kelly's trying to knock it out to Whitfield. It's gathered by Iden, gets the hand pass away to Josh Kelly. Links up on half back with Ash. Hand pass to Canelio. He takes his full time to try and get it forward back to Ash. He runs away from George Hewitt at right half forward. Riccardi's free in the pocket. The kick is close to the boundary line. It's over it. Out on the full. Lockie Ash with the kick inside 50. Missed absolutely everything. And Saints fans take a deep breath. Yeah. The Giants by 34.
Absolutely, Clinch. He just tried to kick it too hard, didn't he? Trying to get out the back to Jake Riccardi, make a surety of it.
So the Blues will play the Swans. It'll be 5th versus 8th. 6th will play 7th. At the moment, it looks like St Kilda versus GWS, not the other way round. So that would be a final in Melbourne for the Saints. 2.5 minutes to go. The ball's out of play. Half forward for the G-men. We already know the top 4 from earlier today, so it'll be Collingwood versus Melbourne. How mouth-watering is that? Qualifying final, and Brisbane to host Port Adelaide in the other quali. The full wash-up right through to 9:30 local time, Australian Eastern. We'll talk you through the finals picture following the full-time siren here. Giants by 34. DeConey gets a hand pass from the traffic to Fogarty. Gives it to Cunningham. He fumbles, coughs it up. Iden wins it back. Hand pass to Ash. Middle of the ground for the Giants. Kicks to centre half forward. Hand on it from Sard. Spills down to Martin. Hot hand pass to Fisher. Threads it through traffic to Sard. Now out to Hollins. He kicks to the wing and Owies takes the mark. City side of the ground. Giants by 34.
He has Durden deep in the pocket. He goes shorter than that. Mackay's on the lead. He can't juggle the mark. It spills away from him. Racing after it, Himmelberg. He's in a tangle. He gets away from Owies. Gets the hand pass to Haynes, centre wing. Kicks up towards Toby Green. He slips over. Ball bounces past him and Nick Newman. Charging out McGovern. He got one of the ribs as he gets a hand pass forward. Newman with a hand pass away. Links up with Cunningham. Kicks towards Hewitt on 50. He takes the mark out to the left. Just the Smalls inside 50. He chips it to Jack Martin, who marks on his chest. In the left forward pocket. And Martin will take every second he can.
Yeah, you can see Stephen Canelio didn't quite go back as hard as he needed to there. But I can completely understand why. I'm not going to bust my backside here just to create a contest deep in this game. The game's already finished. I understand we want to kick those goals to get a home final, but I think it's going to be just out of reach.
Kicked a goal in the second quarter. Jack Martin finally getting a run at it with his body. On a 45-degree angle, he swings it out to the right. And misses absolutely everything as it cuts back left. Out of bounds on the full. No change to the score. The Giants by 34 points. 32 minutes gone, final turn.
For Luke Beveridge and the Bulldogs, the road ends here. On the last day of the home and away season, they won't be playing finals for the first time since 2018. Giants cough it up from the kick out, falls to Owies. He kicks outside of the right boot but hits the post. And for GWS, as Clinchy mentioned earlier, 6 times in 8 years. First up under Adam Kingsley. Giants by 33. They're headed to September.
Coming with a quick kick straight down the middle. Paddy Dow trying to gather. Can't get it to Cunningham. Still a chance as he gives the hand pass to Fisher. Kicks a high ball inside 50. Mackay's underneath. Can't take the mark. Haynes trying to gather. Picked up by Owies. Hand pass away to Durden to finish with a goal. He hits the post. Into the left goal post. And the Giants win their way into September, but not by enough to claim a home final. GWS by 33 points in the first season under Adam Kingsley.
Well, there's a big, big sound from the west of the town. It's the sound of the mighty Giants. Feel the ground is shaking. The other teams are quaking in their boots before the Giants. We take the longest strides and the highest leap. We're stronger than the rest. We're the greater Western Sydney Giants. We're the biggest and the best, and we will never surrender. We'll fight until the end. We're greater than the rest.
It was 8 goals to 4 in the second half. The Giants prevailed by 32 points, 16-9-105 to Carlton 11-7-73 in front of 44,354 fans. The Blues' winning streak of 9 on the trot comes to a close. They'll finish in September, but they'll take on Sydney in the first week of the finals. And the carrot was there for the Giants to try and host a home final, but they couldn't get over the line in the final turn.
Well, there's a big, big sound from the west of the town. It's the sound of the mighty Giants. You feel the ground is shaking. The other teams are quaking in their boots before the Giants. We take the longest strides and the highest leap. We're stronger than the rest. We're the greater Western Sydney Giants. We're the biggest and the best. And we will never surrender. We'll fight until the end. We're greater than the rest.
The Giants winners by 32 points in the final match of the home and away season. It went right down to the wire and so many teams involved in this last round. And the Western Bulldogs season comes to a close. The Giants victorious. They take their spot in September. And the Saints will host a final in the first week. For the Giants, 4 goals to Toby Green, 3 goals to Jake Riccardi, 2 goals to Cornelio in his 200th game. Had a few opportunities as well. Individuals to Ward, Cumming, Daniels, Hogan, Keefe, Lloyd and Brown. Meanwhile, for the Blues, 3 goals to Charlie Curnow, claiming back-to-back Coleman medals with the 2 goals in the first quarter to pass Taylor Walker. 2 goals to Matt Owies, individuals to De Koning, Durden, Martin, Fisher, Hewitt and Cottrell. The Giants winners by 32 points. The thoughts of Brett DeLeo and Mark Murphy with you on ABC Sport.
Well, I just think we saw a team in the second half was probably more on edge than what the other team were. I thought the first half was a really physical contest from both sides, both going at the contest really hard. Work rate from both sides was really strong. The referred pressure was enormous and players were making mistakes. And it was finals-like football, but that second half that was just put on show there by the Giants. They were just harder around the football and wanted the ball more and just were just on edge more than what I thought Carlton were in that second half. And obviously had more to play for than what the Blues did. But full credit to the Giants who had Taylor pull out before the game with that hamstring tightness, and for Buckler to go and do the job on Charlie. I know Charlie had a great first quarter, but really blanketed him for the rest of the day. I thought they had a lot of winners across the board, the Giants, and they should go into their next game against the Saints full of confidence, come back to this ground and get the job done. Yeah, look, they were just unrelenting, weren't they, the Giants? They just did not give the Blues an ounce of, or an inch of space, I should say, not an ounce, it's in weight. Their ability to stay right up their backside the whole time and force the Blues into a game they didn't really want to play in handball. A lot more handball today. In handball, how many times did we see the Giants players just put their hands up and actually smother a ball because they were forcing them to do loopy ones, which then invited the pressure, and then it might not have been the first guy that was able to lay the tackle, but the second guy come in and smashed the Carlton player. It was indicative of how the game was set up. Essentially, it was a great contest in that first quarter, but I feel halfway through that second quarter that they started to turn the screws a little bit. The Giants, they come out after half-time, as you spoke about, Murph, and just really put this game to bed, especially in that third. The game was done, essentially, and it was more about cheering on the result for them to get a home final. So, well done to the Giants. Good stuff, Stevie Coniglio, 200th game. Always good to win a milestone game. I'm pleased that there's no Guard of Honour. It's a great achievement to play 200, but we've got a bit happy with the old Guards of Honour of late. But it's a great win, and that's that of 6 finals in 8 years. That's I mean, for a start-up club, considering what the other start-up and where they're at, I think this is you got to pay homage to the guys that set it up from ground zero, but then to the boys that have stuck through and now become 200 game players. You got to tip your cap. Yep, and I think especially to Adam Kingsley to get this 100% team playing the
He's
sort
got
of
them
football.
buying in, hasn't he?
Yeah, the sort of football that they're playing at the moment. It's a finals type brand of football that I think will certainly stack up in a couple of weeks' time. And where they looked at the start of the season from where they are now, they're poles apart from there. And they weren't playing bad football at all at the start of the year, but they were just inconsistent on trying to execute the style of play that Adam Kingsley would have wanted from them week in, week out. But you're seeing a really hardened side out there at the moment. They've been one of the form teams of the competition along with Carlton over the past couple of months. So they go into finals football with a lot of confidence and should be really positive about the type of football they're playing and positive about making an impact in finals.
So the way it sits is the first qualifying final with Collingwood finishing on top will play Melbourne. The first elimination final, Carlton having finished in 5th position, will take on the Sydney Swans in 8th. The second elimination final, St Kilda having finished in 6th position, they'll host the Giants. And the second qualifying final, Brisbane, will take on Port Adelaide from the Gabba. So still some venues to be confirmed as to whether St Kilda will get a home final at Docklands or whether that'll be at the MCG. And we don't know whether the first qualifying final will be a Thursday or a Friday night, with either Collingwood or Carlton to potentially have the Thursday or the Friday night.
So just a shorthand of that, Carlton and Sydney are on the same side of the draw as the loser for Collingwood-Melbourne. So whoever loses Collingwood-Melbourne will get the winner of Carlton-Sydney. So if you blue sky these things and think, imagine if Melbourne had caused an upset and beat Collingwood, and somehow the Blues get over the Swans, we might have Carlton-Collingwood in week 2. The other side of the draw, obviously St Kilda and GWS, so the winner of that elimination final will play the loser of the Lions and the Power. So that's how it's situated.
And there was an interesting incident in which Jacob Wiedering left the ground in which Toby Green was involved in. I'm sure that's going to be looked at by the match review officer in the coming hours. Let's head down to the Giants' rooms with Ben Cameron.
Oh, it's euphoric down here. Some of those ex-players, they had a function, as Brett Delidio mentioned to us. They celebrated with them as they came down the race. We've got some diamonds in the room. Jamie Lee Price, who is dating, I believe, Harry Perryman, and Liz Watson, so our World Cup winners. Everyone's up and about down here in the rooms, and they're about to sing the song. Just circling up now. You'll hear that sound, a big, big sound. Still waiting for a couple of stragglers. Lockie Whitfield making his way into the room. All right, here we go.
It's the sound of the mighty Giants. The ground is shaking, the other teams are quaking in their boots before the Giants. We take the longest strides and the highest leaps. We're stronger than the rest. We're the greater Western Sydney Giants. We're the biggest and the best. And we will never surrender. We'll fight to the end. We're greater than the rest.
Oh, it's excellent when the song kicks. They're getting into a very tight huddle in the wake of that. Adam Kingsley, when he first walked into the rooms as well, got a fair cheer from their family and friends and gave them the double Cobra fist pump celebration. They're pretty happy with it all down here, the men in orange.
Thanks, Ben. Yell out when you get some reaction from the Giants' rooms. The result so far today: Port Adelaide winners by 31 points over the Tigers, Melbourne by 21 points over the Sydney Swans, and GWS Giants defeating the Blues by 32 points. There's some good contenders for the Coach of the Year when you think of Craig McRae getting Collingwood to the minor premiership. Chris Fagan have got the Brisbane Lions back to a home final. Kenny Hinkley, with all the pressure under him in being the final year of his contract at Port Adelaide, got the contract signature. Simon Goodwin leading Melbourne to a double chance. Michael Voss in the turnaround for the Blues.
Ross Lyon.
The return of Ross Lyon. Adam Kingsley in his first season for the Giants. And John Longmire with the Swans looking a long way off September in the middle stages of the season. Lance Franklin retires. All of a sudden they're in the final spot.
No, and the beauty is that you are, it all becomes an even playing field essentially, doesn't it? In a couple of weeks' time. So, someone there in that group that you've just mentioned will really elevate themselves and ultimately hold the cup up at the end.
Back down to Ben Cameron.
Have the man who played his 200th game today, Stephen Cornelio. He's been here from the very start, and the Giants are going back to the finals. How does that feel?
Yeah, it feels great. It feels like we are where we want to be, and I think it's been a journey throughout this season, and I'm just so proud of the boys. We thoroughly deserve it. Put in a heap of work, and Adam Kingsley came in with a vision, and it's great to see the last 12 weeks to come to fruition.
I was sitting behind the GWS bench all day. I feel like I've gone 12 rounds with a prize fighter watching Adam Kingsley. But late in the game, he was telling everyone we need 2 goals for a home final. How aware were you out on the ground as to what you needed to do for a home final?
Yeah, it spreads pretty quickly, especially when it popped up on the big screen. And the boys knew, but yeah, they managed to get a couple of goals late. But we're just blessed to be in the position that we are, and we'll play anyone, anywhere.
I did see for your milestone game here today, it was fantastic to see your, I think, 90-year-old nonna over from Western Australia, from the Swan Valley, all the way to Docklands to watch you. Your wife was here. How special was that?
Yeah, special. My whole family and the ones, everyone made the journey over from WA, my wife and her family, coming over from Sydney. But yeah, my nonna, she turns 90 this year, and a lot of what I did growing up was just to make her proud. Her and my nonna came over with nothing to Australia, so just very pleased to be able to, go back to another final. I'm not sure exactly she knows what's still going on with AFL, but she's happy anyway.
Last one before I send you upstairs to your old mate Brett Delidio and Mark Murphy, but Toby Green, he got cut above the eye, had a little wrestler. I think he might have got a finger in the eye at some point. You're great mates with Toby. I think you two were talking shortly thereafter. What did he say to you as to what happened?
No, nothing, to be honest. I was just always marvel at the way that he goes about it, but I just went up, and the crowd were obviously giving him a little bit of stick at that point, and just told him to keep composed and get it strapped up and come back on.
All right, I'll send you upstairs. Brett Delidio and Mark Murphy are with you.
Cogsy, Lids here. Well done on 200 games, mate. Fantastic achievement. Really good to see you guys back in finals. I wasn't sure, the start of the year where that was going to end up for the Giants boys, but you've stuck at it, and probably credit to yourself, mate, with the form you've been in. But also the guys down back. I reckon your back 6 tonight especially were absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, man, I think it's a good point. To point out the back 6 or 7, I think they've been doing it all year. Even when we were losing early doors, I think they've really stood up. Guys like Connor Ryden, probably one of the more underrated defenders in the competition. And Charlie probably kicked a couple early, but I thought the way Jack Buckley stepped up in Sam Taylor's absence was first class.
And the other end of the ground, you've got Toby Bedford and little Binger Daniels, mate, buzzing around. Love their work, but then it's kind of Callum Brown as well, with his ability to stand up and kick a couple of clutch goals for you as well.
Yeah, I think their speed up there obviously helps us so much, and we didn't have those 2 smalls against Port Adelaide, and we really missed them. So to have them back in the team, it's just it's great for us, obviously defensively and offensively.
Cogs, Murphy, mate, congratulations on your 200 games, and I think your year as a whole. I think it's probably been your best year in the AFL. Love watching you go about it this year, but your midfield group just looked like you bashed up Carlton in that second half. Did you speak about that at half time, about coming out and being really physical and aggressive, because I thought they tried to overuse their handball, and you guys were just forcing errors time and time again.
Yeah, look, I think their pressure is first class. I think we probably played into their hands a little bit, but also they had 7 goals at half time and 5 from stoppages, so we really spoke about that and tried to get back on top of that. And I thought, Tom Green probably led the way, but also Wardy looked like 25 years old again.
He had twinkle toes out there today, big Cal Ward at times. But what do you think you can achieve in this finals? I think you and Carlton, the Giants and Carlton, have been probably the form teams of the comp in the last couple of months. Can you go in there and really impact it?
Yeah, we believe we can, and I think as Lid said, it was a slow start to the year, but I think over the last 2 years we just got accustomed to losing, and we couldn't. You both know what it's like. Once you get that taste of winning again, and then the momentum takes over everything. And why not us? That's what we've been talking about internally and externally. And we feel really confident. We felt confident over the last 2 weeks, even though pretty much they were both elimination finals for us. So we're just excited and blessed to have the opportunity to be back in the finals.
Steve Cornelio is with us on ABC Sport. We touched on finals the 6th time in the last 8 years, and yet it feels like in the early stage of the season when you won 3 of your first 10, it was a long way off. What were sort of your expectations when Adam Kingsley took over?
Yeah, it's easy to say now that we expected to play finals, but we genuinely did, and that doesn't really speak a heap of volume about the group, because like I said, we were so accustomed to losing, but Kingers was the one that's been driving that from December and January, and we just needed to tap into that a little bit more, and a belief has just grown on level and level. And tonight was a special one, but I think over our last 12 weeks, like Murph said, us and Carlton have really tried to bring some momentum into this final series.
You've now beaten 4 sides inside the top 8, so you certainly earn your place there. Was it a tough weekend to have to wait to the final match of the weekend? How did you sort of try and kill time? Adam Kingsley said it was simple because it was a result you just had to get. So there wasn't too many other games which, directly would take your attention away. But did you find yourself sort of watching results and hard to separate the thoughts from it?
Yeah, a little bit. I thought it was a great game, and 3/4 time last night I switched over to Tottenham, and the Ange ball's taken over at the moment, and I wanted to watch that, so I just checked on the Footy Live app, saw the Bulldogs getting away, and thought we'll just get to work tomorrow.
And Toby Green, you touched on him a bit, but it feels like he's a walk-up All-Australian this season. Another 4 goals this afternoon, 60 for the season. To do what he does as the captain, and obviously having taken over from you must be so proud in the way in which he's impacted games this year.
Yeah, I think hopefully not only All-Australian but All-Australian captain. I think he thoroughly deserves that honour. It means so much to us on the field, but also off it as well in his leadership. And it's been spoken about now, but I'm just glad he's starting to get that public recognition that he's deserved, and Lids would be able to talk about the character that he is, and the boys love him, of course, and he plays well, but he really is a leader that's just grown and grown over the last 3 or 4 years.
And as we let you go, is there a family get-together after the game tonight?
There's 50 over from Perth and Sydney. So, they're in Lygon Street last night. I'll see where we're at tonight.
We'll let you go and enjoy it. Good luck against the Saints come week 1.
Thanks, guys.
Steve Cornelio joining us from the Giants rooms, playing his 200th game, and a man in which you would have seen a lot of the early stages of his career, Lids, and now passes that milestone, the 5th Giant to do so.
Yeah, and look, to be honest, unless you've been alongside Steve, and you probably see it a little bit on the outside, but he's one of the more generous, humble, giving players that you'll play with. He's always thinking of others. I mean, most times when I do my calf, which was a lot, a couple of times though, we drop over a bottle of wine and just, say, mate, just thinking of you, keep your chin up. We're here with you throughout the whole thing. And it's just little things like that people don't, you don't hear about or see a hell of a lot of, but he was in a lot of pain through that 2019 campaign, and we shared a lot of that together, being both injured, having to watch the boys go out there and play in that grand final. So this is big for him to be back in the finals and have his chance to, really try and drive this team, which he has. I think his form has been as good as anyone's. We spoke about Toby a lot, and a few other players, but I'll tell you what, he was being questioned, Stephen Cornelio, with his forwards and his midfield craft. He was tried as a forward, I reckon, there under Leon for a little bit, and that wasn't working whatsoever, and he's been back in to go midfield and get forward and kick goals for us, and I think his form, it's almost been the turnaround. It's mirrored what the Giants have been able to do.
There was a point there where it looked like the worst contract in footy.
Yep.
With no disrespect to Steve, he'd signed I know it sounds disrespectful, a long period of time he clearly wasn't right physically, and then also it wasn't in the right system, coach changes, and it's amazing that there's this kind of turnaround and he's playing this level of footy. And I think all of us, yes, you sit here and you analyse, and we do that from the cheap seats in this role, but ultimately you want the players to be the best versions of themselves, and to be able to see the guy get back to that kind of level, hitting 200 games, another final series for this team. It feels like a new iteration of the Giants rather than being this team that's expected to win the premiership. Now they often do it as underdogs.
Yeah, and that's what I love about the... it's almost the mantra of this Giants group. It was the orange tsunami, and look at them go, and all the high draft picks, and they don't play defence, but they're great on offence. Not this team. This team out here is like they attack the opposition with ferocity, and they get after them. There's no questions about when there are no downhill skis there. It's, if you don't want to buy in defensively or put pressure on, you don't play.
When you sign a sort of 7-year deal on roughly supported supposedly $7 million, I guess you get a lot of attention, but the lure of potentially going back to WA or even clubs like North Melbourne I
thought we had him clinchy.
Or the Blues, who might have had some money to try and lure him across. Those kids that have been allowed to stay up a bit late on a Sunday night are getting the chance to have a kick on Docklands after the last game of the home and away season. So the intrigue for me, Lids, was sort of around GWS and Richmond. Obviously, Taranto and Hopper going to the Tigers, Adam Kingsley coming in to the Giants, and it felt like they'd be a strong side, and they brought a clear defensive intent. The question would be which side would be able to adjust. And either Damien Hardwick trying to push once more for another crack with an ageing list, or the Giants as to whether Adam Kingsley would have enough time, enough of a runway to get the side playing a game plan in which he wanted to play. That was why I was sort of curious with Stephen Coniglio as to what the expectation was around this group, because early in the season it felt like they were going to be a bottom 5 team.
Yeah, it did. But you probably excuse him a little bit of that because the new coach and you've got to learn his ways and whatever else. But I love that he's backed himself in. It probably speaks volumes to Adam Kingsley and what he is, in terms of leading this group. There's absolutely been no doubt about their talent, with for the Giants boys. It's been more about that defensive intent and their ability to get after the opposition and play the percentages at times. I think that's been a big issue down there when you don't need to go for that $1 million kick every time. Sometimes you can just kick it down the line and get it to your next teammate and let him make a decision. But yeah, from where they were earlier in the year to be now playing finals, it's a fantastic effort.
Yeah, and when you do look at it, you lose a Taranto who's All-Australian this year, and a Hopper who probably hasn't been as good as what Taranto has, but he's still a good player, and Bobby Hill as well, who left. So they've lost some pretty handy players and Finlayson, and still been able to find other avenues. And you get a Toby Bedford in from Melbourne, who I thought was really good today, and other guys just step up their game. And I think they've got a really good mix within their side at the moment.
6 wins to 13 wins for GWS in one off-season. Max Lawton just put this tweet out breaking down sort of the ladder differences from last year to this year. Fascinating reading. So at the end of last home and away season, Geelong number 1, Fremantle 5th, Richmond 7th, Bulldogs 8th, so all out. In comes Carlton, who finished 9th, Saints, who finished 10th, Port, who finished 11th. So the 3 teams just outside the 8 last year all make it. And GWS 16th into the 8. So 4 changes, which the AFL would love to think that there's half the teams that qualify for the final series change from one year to the next.
Well, you think of Richmond where they were in 16 to where they got to in 17. Like it's very similar, isn't it?
There's always one team, isn't there?
That just jumps up.
Bottom 4 or 6 or whatever it is.
Well, it was Collingwood last year, wasn't it? I think they were 15th or 16th the year before.
Second last,
was it? 17th. So there's always one side that bucks the trend, and it's the Giants this year.
Just also, while you were conducting that nice interview with Steve Coniglio, I was just doing the...
Nice.
I was going to say brilliant, but I didn't want to go there. I was looking at the most recent meetings for our finals matchups, and interestingly, the most recent head-to-head clash was Collingwood over Melbourne by 4 points on King's birthday. Sorry, Melbourne over Collingwood by 4 points on King's birthday. The D's won that game. So, ancient, unimportant history for the rest of it. If you think Sydney Carlton... Swans beat the Blues by 26 in round 11. St Kilda beat the Giants by 12 points in round 10. So we're going back to the start of the winter. And Port Adelaide and Brisbane, their most recent meeting was round 1.
Wow.
Where Brisbane led at half-time. Port Adelaide finished over the top to win by 9 goals. So as much as we spend the next 2 weeks now looking at these matchups and going, what can we take from the last meeting? Oh, how much can we possibly take out of that, given the from so long ago?
Fantastic. And you've got a week break as well, where you're not playing footy. So, like I said before, it's all bets are off, and she's pretty even, which is great.
So you wouldn't look into anything the last time they met?
I'd look into their last game, essentially, and who's coming back into that side. How many changes do you make? You know, I think that's more so what you look at.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I think they always look back on what worked and what didn't, but every side is different from even within 3 to 4 weeks, let alone 10 in round one that you talked about with Brisbane and Port Adelaide playing each other. So it just sets up a juicy finals, doesn't it, for all of us to sit back and watch?
3 games in Melbourne in week 1, and obviously Brisbane and Port Adelaide, which is expected to be the Saturday fixture. So I hate to forecast because we haven't got anything official, Clinchy, but if you put your finger in the wind, it looks like the 2 teams on the same side of the draw, so 2v3 and 6v7. That means Port Adelaide and Brisbane. That's a qualifying final, and St Kilda and GWS. They will be the Saturday games. And the Carlton versus Sydney match and Porter and Collingwood versus Melbourne will be Thursday, Friday, in whatever order. They have to try and slot that away, so I'm not going to try and preempt that.
Surely the Pies do. They start us off, don't they?
On the Thursday?
Night?
What would be your pick?
I think you give it to the latter leader to start us off.
Give them the biggest break.
Yeah.
Last year
Do
we
you start
started
with a qualifying final, or do you start with an elimination final? It's always interesting.
But I think the important thing is they will stay in those positions, because then it's all about the week 2 recovery. So the loser of the quali and the winner of the elimination final on the Saturday will play the following Saturday. And likewise, 1v4, 5v8. So they have to play Thursday, Friday, because they'll play the following Friday. So it's about the break leading into week 2 and so on and so forth.
On the answer mass, 0437 774 774. The Giants have the Tigers picked 6 in the draft, so it's ended up being a pretty good trade for the Giants. Team with Tex and Nick Larkey kicking 9 goals this weekend. Curnow with the Coleman in the bag. Who gets the full forward position? That's from Graham in WA.
The Coleman medalist.
Coleman medalist normally gets the pecking order when it comes down to that.
I'm not sure the other 2 will make it, to be honest.
Please.
Tex would, but I don't think Larkey does, maybe.
I reckon.
Nah, surely does.
I don't know. I'm not sure how tall they go. They'll probably squeeze another midfielder in there.
They're not playing anyone.
I know that, but they never pick a key. Like, how many do you want?
3.
You've got to have balance.
70 goals would be...
You need to forward defence, Murph.
70 goals good tally by modern standards, isn't it? Which is
fantastic.
Great. To have 3 players get 70 plus.
And what did Toby end up with in the end?
What's been great is just seeing guys kicking bags of goals again. Yeah. We thought that was lost for the game.
Yep.
But we're seeing multiple guys kick big bags on different occasions. I know a few of them have been against the Eagles.
who we've talked about and what a blight on the competition's been.
But it's been good.
Yeah, no, it's silver lining. I like it. 60 in the end for Toby Green.
Yeah, that's his biggest return since, I think, 45 a couple of years ago.
He wins goal kicking for a 4th time, so 3 in a row now as the leading goal kicker at GWS. Obviously, there's finals to play, but he's a few ahead of Jesse Hogan, who is his nearest rival. Just the Blues night for people that are jumping in their car, Murph, and driving home. Give me a little synopsis as to how much are you worried about that and how much you just forget about it, bang, move on, and we just completely write that off.
Oh, I'm not worried about it, but I think there is some learnings to come out of it. I think they were too quick to handball around congestion, especially in the first half and the second half. But the first half, when they were up and about and the game was hot, and you could tell both sides really wanted to win that game. Not saying they didn't want to win in the second half, but I thought they're over handballed, and finals games, the pressure's enormous and it goes up another level. So they need to be really strong with ball in hand and not just flick it around. So that's one thing they need to learn from it. I think outside of that, it's basically that Sam Doherty will come back in and a Paddy Cripps. So the mix is going to be different. The only question mark they will have is, do we need to have a Mark Pitney being the first ruckman with a Tom DeConning being the second? I think that's the only thing that they will question and weigh up.
What would you do?
Good question. I would, if Jack Silvani's available, I would go with a Tom DeConning with the Jack Silvani as the second ruck.
Yep.
With Harry Mackay still in that forward line.
And I don't want to see Harry Mackay on the ruck again.
Really?
He competed okay, but
he looks lost.
I don't think that he understands ruck craft and doesn't do enough of it to warrant playing there in a big final that is really important for the footy.
Do you
side.
think they look as good with him in that side?
I think they certainly do. He looks a little bit scratchy. I thought he worked really hard in the first quarter. I thought he competed really well. And I actually thought he was better than Charlie today, but I think they're still trying to work out their mix. Sometimes they still sometimes get in each other's way. But the ball coming
Which is strange for round 23, isn't it?
It is.
I know he's been out for a little while, but let's not take away anything from the Giants' back six and all the pressure that was on. Because I'm not for 1 minute saying that he should be. I'm just asking you that question, because it's a question that's been thrown up, let's be honest.
No, if I was choosing the side, they're definitely playing.
Yep.
Yep.
Do you think he's got the runs on the board?
Of course.
But also the ability to be a person who can stand up and win you a final?
I think he certainly does. Yep. And I think he's more the player who is higher up the ground, and you want Charlie deeper. They will reverse those roles from time to time, but I think that's when they're at their best, when there's more separation between the two.
Just on Blake Acres, felt like when he left Fremantle, they kind of felt, look, it's a long-term deal and it's a good money, so we're happy for him to go at that price. And then, interestingly, when I was down in the bowels of the MCG yesterday and just knocking around the Fremantle camp before the start of play, there was a few people saying, oh, look, we really miss Blake Acres this year. It's the kind of guy that we would have loved to have. If he has done his collarbone, and that is the fear at this stage, obviously there's a lot to play out and there's 2 weeks before that final.
Yep.
What do they lose by not having Blake Acres?
Oh, he's been in great form. I don't know the severity, obviously, of the collarbone. It can be anywhere from a 1 to 5 weeks, collarbone.
As short as 1.
Yeah, if you're just a slight little collarbone, you can get away with it, and you've got 2 weeks, and it is one of those injuries that you can put an injection into and get away with. So they do have a Sam Doherty who can come back and play on a wing pretty easy. Not to say that he's replaceable. Anyone is replaceable, but he's been playing some great football. But I don't think it ruins their finals chance or their premiership chances. Blake Acres missing, but I think the severity of it will be interesting.
Early thoughts about week 1 of the finals. Who do you feel like are the informed sides? Collingwood back on the winners list with their win on Friday night over the Bombers. The Brisbane Lions all of a sudden at the Gabba, having not lost at the Gabba so far this season. The possibility they might not have to leave Brisbane until the grand final if they can get over Port Adelaide. What are your intrigues with your first thoughts of the week 1 of the finals?
My intrigue would be Collingwood-Melbourne. I feel that Melbourne is still my pick to win it at this point in time. So I think they're playing some really strong football, Melbourne. I think it was really good to see Bailey Fritsch come back in and kick 5 today. I think that's an important cog in their forward line. He's a really underestimated player, I think, Bailey Fritsch, and I think they're the number 1 seed for mine. So it's a big game.
Tom McDonald kicked 5 today.
Yep.
They trounced them though.
And they obviously won't have a Nick Dacos, so it's a huge game 1, isn't it, between Collingwood and Melbourne? That's the most intriguing for mine.
I'm not sold on Collingwood with their form just at the moment. They've been the best team all year. Granted, they've had to come from behind a hell of a lot. I think that the Melbourne defence and the way that stacks up, I just think their ability to get it done. But if Collingwood they win it at the source and they can get out the front and really challenge the back end of the Melbourne bubble, they're going to be a really big chance. But I couldn't tip against Melbourne at the moment in terms of that. But Brisbane are going to be right there. 2 games up in Brisbane potentially. Don't put anything against Port Adelaide with what they've been able to do this year.
And Bailey Fritsch kicked 5 against Sydney today, but the concern was Jake Melcham with a leg injury being an emergency for their 3 finals in 2021. He's been a part of the side in the back end of the season under Simon Goodwin, but as they always say, health is your best friend at this stage of the season, and the concern is that his season might be in jeopardy.
If you want a predictable storyline in the next 24 hours is where St Kilda play their final. So in round 3, they had an anniversary game against Essendon. It was their first home match at the MCG in 7 years since 2016. Do they host GWS at the G, or are we getting a final here at Docklands?
We're here, surely.
Yeah, I would have thought
surely.
I just think a packed-in crowd here. I don't think you're going to pack in the MCG.
No, you're not going to.
And this is St Kilda's home deck, so I think they would want to play here.
What, we're worried about integrity or something?
No, we're not worried about integrity at all whatsoever. Never have, Corbin.
So you think it'll be here?
I think it'll look way better on TV, which is what it's all about. It seems to be.
How many members they got, St Kilda? Off the top of your head?
All the membership numbers are inflated, but their average crowd would be mid-30s, low 40s.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Get them in here.
And we saw when even the Giants made the prelim or the grand final, they haven't got a huge following that comes down from Sydney to go and follow. There's a lot of family and friends that come along, but not so much a huge following.
And the Baggers at the G?
Baggers definitely at the G.
That'll be filled. That will be filled.
Come on, Corbin, please.
As a player, what will this week off be like? Will you get a little bit of time away? Will you try and separate your thoughts from what's upcoming? How do you try and manage it?
Oh, you probably not go away, I don't think, but it's more about just making sure that you can, iron out any ailments, any creases you've got in the body, and try and get yourself ready for a good training session later next week, or the middle, probably near the weekend, and then another day off or so. Get yourself back right, and then hit that week ready to go, like you have done for the last 23 rounds of the year, 24 rounds of the year.
Yeah, you try and get moving like you would in most weeks, and then have a really solid hit out probably back into next week, and then. Probably the danger is sometimes looking too much at what the opposition does. I think you worry about what you do, and you have that look towards what the opposition does, but you just don't want to overanalyse the opposition too much. I think you just keep on worrying about yourself with an eye on what they're doing.
It's been a long time since 2013. We didn't have a pre-finals bye back then. The last time Carlton played in finals, and Murph, you're obviously an integral part of it. Your advice to the current Blue Baggers, you just spend a fortnight on Lygon Street and lap it up, or how do you go about it?
Free coffees.
Absolutely not. Stay away from Lygon Street. But yeah, I think just freshen up and don't listen to the noise whatsoever. Just keep your head down, and they obviously know what they're about and what they're building. So yeah, I think they will be pretty pumped about playing in front of 90,000 with predominantly Carlton people there, and obviously to do it against Sydney, who have been so good over such a long period of time. They've fought back into this season really well, so it's going to be a big game.
Quick little shameless plug. So 5 p.m. tomorrow, Australian Eastern. We're on ABC Sport Digital. Mark Murphy, who didn't do Grandstand AFL Sunday today because of the footy, is with Ben and myself on Corbin and Ben. We've got a whole lot to chop up there. But very quickly, Lids.
Yes, mate.
30 seconds. How are the Western Bulldogs feeling tonight?
Pretty down on themselves, I would have thought. Yeah, I don't think you're very pleased with where your season's been at. You're asking a lot of questions and hoping that the media misses you. So it's a bit like Essendon's loss last week. That's what I'd be hoping for if I was a player.
I think with a week off before the finals, I don't think anyone's going to miss them.
No one's missing them, no, but that's what you're hoping.
Yeah.
What's that? We don't have to come in. Oh, see you later. I'm out of here. Jeez. I'm going way north.
I'd imagine Luke Beveridge's message will be ready. Be ready for pre-season day one.
Do you want my votes quickly?
Yeah, the votes for the ABC Football of the Year, Mark Murphy.
I'll put myself under the pump here. I gave 1 to Caniglio, 2 to Green, and 3 to the other Green.
Tom Green.
Tom,
top votes. Toby 2.
Yeah.
Geez, no backs.
The votes in the ABC Footballer of the Year from Mark Murphy. Thanks, Murph. Thanks, Lids. The Baggers are back in finals for the first time in a decade.
Up the G-men.
Let's go.
We'll hear you on Corbin and Ben. Thanks to Akash back in the studio, to Stuart Hollywood Baker, and to Ben Cameron and to Corbin Middlemass. The AFLW, of course, gets underway next week. We can't wait to bring it to you. Of course, all the lead up to September. The best place to catch it is right where you're tuning in on ABC Sport. We'll chat to you in a couple of weeks.
ABC Listen.
A lot of us want to know exactly how a major Silicon Valley bank could have failed, how a former comedy star is holding off a nuclear superpower, and how did a country a lot like Australia end up with 100% inflation. I'm Matt Bevan. Join me for a new season of my podcast, If You're Listening, helping you make sense of major news events shaping our world with new episodes weekly. If You're Listening. Hear it now on the ABC Listen app.
Be part of the Grandstand Sport team on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Search ABC Sport and see a world of great sport content for you to explore. ABC Sport Digital Radio, your home of cricket.
The period between 1984 and 1989 was very tough for Australian cricket. Playing an 11 series during that time, Australia managed to win